make sense, but still a few fans coming in. We're underway for the first of our two games, NRL Sunday on ABC Sport, and Taruba, the winger, takes the first hit up here. Devoid of options, he's put down 20 out and 10 in from that eastern side of the ground with Tristan Hope at dummy half. Sends a pass out wide here and brought down there is Finua Bole. I mentioned, of course, born in Wellington, but grew up here in Victoria, going through the Storm Victoria Thunderbolts junior pathways. Here's Bunty Afoa, his first carry as a West Tiger. 30 out centre field. Hope on play 4 here. Comes left-hand side, and Grant makes the tackle in centre field along with that man in Josh King, and it's played the left-hand side now. Alex Twal is tackled now 5 short of the halfway. 20 in western side. Last play Tigers, first set of the game. Hope finds Jock Madden, and he sends his kick high skyward down there for Suafolongo, and he skips past the second rower there, Kai Pearce-Paul, eventually brought down 30 out 10 in eastern side inside these first 70 seconds in Melbourne. Storm on the attack early in their first set of the game. There is Hugo Peel, who debuted against the Dolphins last week, the 7th Vic Junior to play in the NRL. 8 short of the halfway is where they get to with Howarth. It's going to be a penalty going the Storm's way.
Yeah, it's a professional start by the Tigers. Got a good set down, then a kick down, but there was some strong running, especially from Hugo Peel and Jack Howarth, the plays 1 and 2, getting over the advantage line and just getting a little extra in the tackle. The Tigers, good opportunity for the Melbourne Storm to get some confidence up with a set inside the Tigers half.
A fine touch on the eastern side, 35 metres away from that southern line, and Howarth feeds the footy on here for Sean Bloor, who's of course a former Tiger. He had 4 years there, played 33 games in first grade. 30 out, 12 in, eastern side. And back it comes now, Liero centre field. Brought down by opposite number in Alex Twal. And also big bad Bunty Afoa. Set restart Melbourne. Grant comes across right-hand side. Yatoi Kamano straightening right into Tristan Hope. Made light work of him. And now brought down by Sione Fainu. So play 2 of this set restart. The next set of 6 now for the Storm. Only 15 out from the West Tigers line. Here goes Josh King. Stop 10 out centre field. Grant comes back right-hand side. Jerome Hughes feeds on to Yatoi Kamano almost there, metre shy, and again just steamrolled the defence there of the Tigers. Getting up very slowly is Jerome Luai. It comes across now for Nick Meaney on this blind side right. Offloads back here for Lasardi. Still alive here for the Storm. Lasardi does surrender. 5 shy right-hand side of the post. Still a couple of plays left in this set for the home side. Grant, open side left now for Melbourne. Hughes to Munster. On and turn they go again, and Folongo goes himself. He dummied out wide, but took a few steps and plants it down cleanly, and the Storm are in first after 2.5 minutes at Annie Park in Melbourne.
That's a great positive start for the Melbourne Storm. Had a crack on the right with a few plays, getting some offloads. Lasardi and Yatoi Kamano coming very close to scoring a try. Then they opened the field up nicely. Good opportunity to get the ball out to their fast guys. Longo out there on the edge. He's too fast, he's too strong. He has been Melbourne Storm's best player this year by head and shoulders, just because of his attitude to the game. Jeez, he's playing well.
12 tries in 10 games now for Suafolongo. A touchline we go, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, he's certainly been in magnificent form. Keep an eye on Will Warbrick too, because I reckon he'll want to amp up his game. He's been pretty quiet of recent. He's actually scored 6 tries in 3 games against the Tigers. So on the other side, keep an eye on Will Warbrick.
Meanwhile, we will see Nick Meaney line up the kick here. 25 metres out and a couple of steps in from the eastern side in front of the Cameron Smith stand here in Melbourne. By the way, around the grounds, Jersey flag first half. Raiders 4, Panthers 0. AFL second quarter at Docklands. Melbourne 41 leads West Coast 10. I know you and Kozer are just keenly watching on there, Hoffy.
Keeping an eye on it.
Nick Meaney, speaking of Perth, he's headed there next year for the Perth Bears. Lining up this kick from that left-hand side of the park to make it 6-0 Melbourne early on here. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Meaney off a couple of steps, in he comes, into the breeze, it's missing near side. So it remains Melbourne 4, West Tigers 0. 5 minutes played first half here on ABC Sport with Brett Sprigg, Ryan Hoffman and Ian Cohen. Queensland Cup games underway as well, by the way. Tweed Seagulls and the Western Clydesdales are 0-0, as are the Mackay Cutters and PNG Hunters. In the A-League Women's semi-final second half, Wellington Phoenix 1, leads Brisbane Roar 0, which also means a break in the deadlock of that aggregate score across those two semi-finals in Wellington's favour. So, Tigers kick us back off here with Jock Madden, and the Storm look to gain some metres after points. Munster back off here now for King, runs straight into Kai Pearce-Paul, who's back from concussion, and he'll play at 15 out, 10 in from the eastern side. Well, they come with Munster at dummy half, and no, Grant in fact dummy half, as Munster's alongside him. Grant does get the pass away here now for Jack Howarth. A little stepping run there into Sione Fainu, and he'll play at 25 out centre field. On tackle 4 now for the Melbourne Storm. No real gain on the carry for Trent Liero. Of course, played for Queensland last year, look to do so again this year. Grant dummy half, off to Tokamano. It's going to be set restart again Melbourne's way, so 11 short of halfway, and a full set now as sees another set restart. Alex Twal, boy, should have been penalised there as he got the warning from the ref, and now the Storm with a few dings of that bell, metre short of the halfway. Grant, open side left here again now for Trent Liero, and he's playing about 5 minutes inside West Tigers territory. Centre field now for the Storm, who lead 4-0 Amy Park. Grant goes from dummy half, gains a quick dozen, and he's stopped now 30 out from that southern line. The Tigers are defending. Play it now, Sul Falongo. He darts from dummy half this time. Takes Tristan Hope with him, and now held up down there by Heath Mason in the white headgear, the West Tigers fullback this week. 17 out centre field. Grant goes from dummy half. Angles the pass wide here for Jerome Hughes. He kicks to the corner. Warbrick leaps up, brings it down, goes over to score. Well, you can't keep Will Warbrick down. Storm are in again. 8-0. Kick to come inside the first 6 minutes on ABC Sport. Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, the Melbourne Storm needed a positive start after being very poor the last 7 weeks. The biggest thing for the Storm are the players who probably haven't been playing at their best. Jack Howarth and Will Warbrick. Jack Howarth, some very strong carries. Great kick there by Jerome Hughes. That was a set play, I think. Kicking early in the tackle count. Flying high. Will Warbrick gets over the top of his man. And that's what, when you see Will Warbrick playing well, that's what he's doing. That's what has been missing the last couple of weeks. Positive signs for the Storm.
As you teased it, Ian Cohen, now 7 tries in 4 games against the West Tigers. Will Warbrick.
Yeah, we just know how powerful he is as an individual, how good he is as an international, and he had a couple of down ones, and obviously he just set himself this week. Craig Bellamy's talked a lot about concentration, making it the full 80 minutes. He reckon that's what been letting them down when he spoke yesterday. So Will Warbrick certainly concentrating early.
Early signs, but the West Tigers appear pretty vulnerable. With a few names missing, coming off their worst half of footy last week, and so far so good for Melbourne Storm.
It's been their discipline. Too many times they've given a piggyback penalty for the first try, and then a couple of 6-agains back to back, which got Melbourne inside their territory. You can't give Melbourne Storm that chance.
Nick Meaney missed that first conversion to the opposite touchline. Here he is on the western side, 23 metres out and a metre in from that western touchline, not far away from Koza. He's getting a nice little happy snap as well. Here is Nick Meaney. Right foot kick on its way. This time just fades across to the far side. So he's none from 2 on we only said it's a slightly windy day here at Amy Park. It's the Melbourne Storm 8, West Tigers 0 after 8 minutes here. And of course we'll preview Canberra and Penrith coming up next at Canberra Stadium. 0467 920 222. We lost all the texts about the accountants and the different tax advice. Thanks to Luke Lewis. Thank you, Dion, for your text. Pod from Cecil Plains saying hi to all the mums and hoping the Storm stand up and lightning strikes. Go Tigers, says David Nowra. And Terrell and Tigers talking about which which May baby has been born. Yeah, Terrell May becoming a dad today, on Mother's Day, I think. Whilst in labour, so it can take a while, but Storm go out of their own end here. There was confusion that Taylor May, he missed training during the week with what they said family reasons. There was talk that maybe he was expecting as well, he and his partner, but no, it's Terrell who's got that duty today, which is very exciting. All the best to his family. So here's the centre field run now from Utoi Kamanu, and claim 31 out from his own line. Already tackled 4 though as Grant goes off to his right and now back on the left to Falongo. Will play it now. 8 short of the halfway. Munster holds the footy after a dummy. Offloads back here in the path of Harry Grant. White now to Howard. Over halfway he goes. Pass wide for Hugo Peel. Chased by Taruba. Back for Harry Grant. Still alive for Lasati to Munster. 10 out goes the rest of the way. Munster scores on the posts. Great build-up. Great team footy for the Melbourne Storm, who scored their 3rd try inside 9 minutes. Storm 12, West Tigers nil. Kick to come Melbourne here on NRL Sunday on ABC Sport.
I tell you what, the writing's starting to look on the wall for the West Tigers. The Melbourne Storm are just making too many metres. They're making meters right through the middle, and off the back of that comes a fast play of the ball, a few little offloads, and Hugo Peel did a great job. Jack Howard put him away down the sideline. He managed to come inside. Good hands from the Storm. Cameron Munster putting the ball down under the post.
That was 64-0 on this weekend last year. Kozer, it's tracking that way now for the Melbourne Storm so far.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, we've got an average of 1 every 3 minutes, so if we go through 80 minutes, it's going to be pretty disastrous for the West Tigers. But right down Main Street at the moment, Stefano certainly started that one off, and then the other boys finished it. Hugo Peel obviously into the lineup and trying to find his place there. The St Kevin's lad that played rugby union with St Kevin's, obviously now a couple of games down with Melbourne Storm.
Talk about players who've been out of form as well. Offie, Cameron Munster's not been his usual best for a little while. It's actually his first try for the year. Yeah, not that tries are always his definitive marker, but certainly doing things like that would give him some more confidence as well.
It's what we're seeing here from a lot of the players of the Storm that haven't been in great form. They're running hard. They're getting themselves on the front foot. They're getting themselves involved early.
Meany's missed both of his sideline conversions. He's directly in front here, though, of what will surely be his first successful kick of the afternoon, and indeed he does make it. Melbourne 14, West Tigers 0 after 10 minutes here at Amy Park in Melbourne. You are with Brett Sprigg, Ryan Hoffman and Ian Cohen. Your text welcome. Derek and Ann from Howard, Queensland. Spriggy, Ryan and Ian could go either way today. This was an old text, obviously. It was sent 10 minutes ago. I want Tigers to win, but don't want Storm to lose again. Have the best call ever. Well, could be the best Melbourne game ever, by the way they're going. 14-0 early on here. Tries to Saw Falongo, Will Warbrick and Cameron Munster in the 2nd, 5th and 8th minutes so far. The Major in Nunda says looking forward to the call. So great to be taken to the game. Melbourne will be wild today doing it for the coach. Indeed, Hoffy. And that's another thing which is sort of playing out. Everyone's been, I think, for the most part, quite respectful of Craig Bellamy's health situation. But it adds another layer to what these players are going through as Utoi Kamanu stands in a 4-man tackle, 15 out from his own line, northern end, running away from that Billy Slater stand. And again, they go with Lasati. 30 out, 20 in from the western side. Play it there for Harry Grant. Goes himself from dummy half. Tries to break the tackle of Taylor May. Can't do so now. So he's 40 out, gained 10. And now from dummy half goes Nick Meany on the second last play here for the Storm. On the halfway line, 20 in from that western touchline. Grant comes back short side right to Jerome Hughes, who kicks for distance down that wing. It'll land there for Heath Mason. And the Tigers start their next set, 15 out from their own line.
It feels like it's been the first time in a long time the West Tigers have got their hand on the football. Possession at the moment is 83% to Melbourne, 17 to the West Tigers. So the West Tigers is a lot of players slow to get back up as Melbourne Storm's defence picks up their hard.
Backed up by a scoreline of 14-0 so far here. Here's Sunia Taruva, and he's dragged down now 20 out centre field. So it's already on tackle 4 now for the West Tigers inside their own 30-metre line, and 20 in from the eastern side. Played there by Patrick Herbert. Open side left they come again. Alex Twal claimed 15 short of his own side of halfway, and now Tristan Hope back to Jock Madden, kicks him inside 40. It goes straight though and high down towards Saw Falongo. He was the first try scorer in the game. Back to young Hugo Peel in his second game, gets absolutely cleaned up down there by Sione Fainu. Plays it now as they roll on quickly through Jerome Hughes and Will Warbrick, also a try scorer in this game so far. And now back to Jack Howard. So we're busy on that left-hand side for the Melbourne Storm. 40 out, 20 in eastern side. Tackle 4 now for the home side, who lead 14-0 in Melbourne. And now again for the Storm with Liero held by 12. 5 inside Tigers territory. Grant runs straight from dummy half. Who was there? He sends the pass out to Jerome Hughes, and he goes the rest of the way. Well, that was just far too easy. There was just the lone fullback meeting Harry Grant front on. And the pass went wide beyond Heath Mason. Harry Grant links up with Jerome Hughes. And the number 7 scores the try to make it 18-0. Kick to come Melbourne after only 12 and a half minutes, Ryan Hoffman.
That was an absolute ice cream defence there from the West Tigers. They had 2 players there at marker and they just looked at each other. There was Hope and Twile. They just looked at each other as Harry Grant just ran straight through the middle untouched. Quick draw and pass for Jerome Hughes. There's certainly ominous signs here from the Melbourne Storm, I tell you.
Touchline we go, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, 64 O's now looking a walk in the park, isn't it really? We're on pace still for a try every 3 minutes at the moment.
Can I tell you something, Hoffy? There's something that feels quite real to me, and that's the Mother's Day curse. Because when I go, most years Mother's Day I'm interstate. I'm not at home, which is just a bit of a, my wife understands, but it's just one of those things that feels unfortunate. And I lost my voice last year doing a game at the MCG, an AFL game. And I did the Para Cowboys game on Friday night, which was exciting. Did the AFL yesterday. My voice is hanging in there. But if we see, 20 tries scored, I can't make any guarantees for the, 70th, 80th minute. So
that's right, I'll take it.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Here's Nick Mini directly in front. 11 out. And he nails that one. So he missed the first 2, makes the next 2, makes it now 20-0 Melbourne after 14 minutes.
It's amazing. It's chalk and cheese for the Melbourne Storm performances. Their last 7 weeks, they've looked lethargic. They've looked like playing with zero confidence. They have come out like an absolute house on fire today. Players are running hard. They're fighting to play the ball. They're getting that second phase play. There's obviously been some big, hard conversations in that change room during the week.
Shane from Toowoomba enjoying the call. Go Melbourne. Thank you, Shane. Harry Ray, our lad from Gerringong, which he calls God's country. Who do you think will be the Maroons halfback? Because Tom Dearden is out for 6 to 8 weeks. It seems like Sam Walker would be the preferred option there for Maroons selection.
It's an interesting one for Bill. That's a tough one to come in for your first game, but he's probably first cab off the rank.
He's got options. Whether Plonga sort of slots in there as well in the halves for Queensland. Again, Melbourne with the set after points, having had 80% possession, as Hoppy said until only a short time ago, and 20-0 the scoreline in the opening 15 minutes. You're with Brett Sprigg, Ryan Hoffman and Ian Cohen here at Amy Park, NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. As Liero, Adam G here has said he's lost the ball. So Storm error, which has been rare in this game so far. Tigers scrum feed 30 out centre field as we see some sunshine peering through the clouds here.
Well, there's the opportunity for the West Tigers. The Melbourne Storm have looked like been running downhill this first half so far, this first 15 minutes. Now the Tigers have a chance to not only have some football, but have some football in Melbourne Storm territory and start to put a bit of pressure on them.
Ants from Levine, New Zealand, thank you for your text as always. And Alex from Wagga says, in Benji, I believe. And happy Mother's Day, Mum. You are my rock. Love you, Spazzy. Well, I love the Mother's Day greeting, but in Benji, I believe. I think Tigers fans might stop believing as far as this game's concerned because they trailed 20-0 after just 15 and a bit minutes. They've got possession here, though. 30 out 20 in from the eastern side. As Hope from dummy half does link up with Fanua Bolle. Centre field run here where he's 25 out, running towards that northern end. Hope off to his left-hand side. First receiver is 12 to Bunty Afoa. And it takes 3 purple jerseys to stop him. 13 out left-hand side of the uprights. Hope here swings it across now for Madden. And Madden is taken by Josh King. 10 out centre field here with a couple of plays left is set for West Tigers. Their best look of the game so far. Luai pass across now for Taylor May. And May steps infield into the tackle there of Hughes and Meany. And he'll play it now. 7 out left-hand side of the sticks. As from dummy half they go through Luke Laulali'i. Comes back for Jerome Luai. Probing ball in here. Picked up by Farlongo. And he's back in the field of play here. Metre out from his own line. It remains Melbourne 20, West Tigers 0.
Yeah, Melbourne Storm looked feeble the last couple of weeks defending on their line, but they were very strong there today. Finish off the great pick-up on the kick by Farlongo.
So play it 9 out from that northern line. And Nick Meany tried to dart his way around Bunty Afoa, but Bunty's hungry in his first game as a West Tiger. After 10 years at the Warriors, Grant runs to the back of him, shares the pass back now to Jack Howarth, who's from East Tigers in Queensland, playing against West Tigers today of New South Wales. Left-hand side, Munster, back now for Hugo Peel, and collected 7 short of the halfway. Last play for Melbourne, who lead 20-0 against West Tigers in his first half. Hughes, long crossfield kick, all the way down there for the Tigers winger defender in Luke Laulali. He's also Perth bound, and his future teammate Nick Meaney collars him. 35 out, 10 in from the western side. Dummy half Jerome Luai, open side right. He finds Taylor May, and he skips into that purple wall there. 5 short of the halfway as the tackle is made by Liero. It's going to be a set restart for West Tigers. Their first set restart of the game, of course. Haven't had much ball overall. The West Tigers trailing 20 points to 0, and it is played out there by Sunia Taruva. Hope from dummy half. Through hands it comes now. Madden shares it in close now with Sione Fainu, where he's brought down 5 inside Melbourne territory. Tackle 3 here for the Melbourne Storm. Open side right they come again, and Josh King, a strong tackle made there on the ball carrier in for Nuabolhe. Comes back left-hand side. Luai skips away, tries to put Sione Fainu through the gap, and he's collected 21 out, left-hand side of the post. It's second last play here for West Tigers. Hope to Madden, and now Alex 12. Bounced off Jerome Hughes, offloads back to Bunji Afoa, swings it back now for Jock Madden, and he's got nowhere to go, so he's collected there by Josh King. Hand in the air from F&G for last play West Tigers. 19 gone, 21 left first half here in Melbourne. Jerome Luai's kick on this last play goes up, and they're reaching for it down there. It may have been lost forward, in fact, by the West Tigers winger. It was. So that was, look, well, it's like a Kai Pearce ball, the back rower who lost that footy. So with Melbourne's ball, 10 out from their own line. They lead 20 points to 0. 19 gone in this first half. Touchline we go. Ian Cohen.
Yeah, Jerome Luau barking instructions here. He's trying to get his team up and going because at the moment there doesn't appear to be a lot of system for the Tigers.
Money, Deb and Wazza with a day off relaxing with the ABC in Harvey Bay. Silverside for tea tonight. Good on you. Great to hear from you. 0467 920 222. A lot of Mother's Day texts coming through thick and fast. Speaking of thick and fast, the Storm are on the attack here with Munster. 25 out. Don't mean that he's thick, just that they're going thick and fast. Comes back through centre field here. 35 out for the Storm. And Falongo will play it now for Harry Grant, the captain, across to Hughes. Early kick on the second last play from inside 40. Heath Mason will watch that, and it bounces just shy of the 20. So it will be West Tigers ball, about 25 out from that southern line.
Yeah, I think that's a good option by Jerome Hughes. He actually had the ball on a bit of a bend there just to try and banana it round the corner. He's finding touch just to settle the team down. I think defensively they've looked really strong, which is positive for them. For the Tigers, they're probably wanting a bit of a blow at the moment because they have done a lot of defence and they are looking a bit fatigued as Taruva nearly drops the ball.
But they recover here. 25 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Filthy Phil says, oh great, here comes the Tiger bashing again. The only bashing happening out there is from the Melbourne players in the West Tigers. If you're 20-0 down in the first 15 minutes, you're going to get some bashing from both players and commentators. 40 out here on that western side now for West Tigers. Hope dummy half to the short side now for Jerome Luai. Offloads back for Tristan Hope, and now again 12 goes the fend on Harry Grant, and Liero and Yatuikamano stop him. 7 short of the halfway. On play 4, Adam G. Let's just having a look here to see if
Trent Liero came out of the tackle holding the throat. He was gesturing, he got hit in the throat, but I think it might have just been an open palm.
So he's having a chat to the bunker here, Adam G.
No, actually, it's a bit of a forerun there.
Jerome, he's on report.
So Alex 12.
He's raised it above the next one.
Yeah, Alex 12 on report.
Yeah,
all about the high fend on Trent Liero.
I don't think he tried to elbow him in the throat. I think he was just going for a fend, and his arm just sort of moved on. So I think penalty and on report sufficient.
19:40 left in this first half. On ABC Sport, you are with Ryan Hoffman alongside me, Brett Sprigg, and this on the touchline is Ian Cohen.
Yeah, you can see Trent Liero recoiled out of that particular interaction, and he was distressed early, but I think it's cleared, but he was certainly concerned.
Penalty count 2-0 Melbourne, by the way, so he's coming off.
He's coming off, and Cooper Clark on in the middle of the field. He's been playing on the edge-back row the last few weeks, and he gets an opportunity to play in the middle, which is his strength.
Here's a run from Lasati for the Storm. 20 out, 20 in western side. Now in bright sunshine here in Melbourne, so it was a cloudy day when I first arrived. Those clouds have dispersed. Munster inside ball here for Sean Blore, and he takes a couple of Tigers with him. 10 metres out now, southern line. Grant from dummy half. Links up Munster. Pass was knocked down by Jerome Luai. And it's going to be offside West Tigers anyway. So Melbourne penalty 10 metres out from that southern line. A chance for more points. They lead 20 points to 0 currently.
Yeah, I think Harry looks like he's not mucking around. He's taking the tap. The Storm smell blood in the water.
The first receiver is the youngster Cooper Clark, and he meets 12. 5 metres shy of that southern line, left-hand side of the post. Grant, plenty of space on the right now. Munster, Itoi Kamanu, and he backs his way to Alex Twal, and will now be playing it. 6 metres shy, right-hand side of the upright, southern end. Grant looks left but goes right. Shares it there with Lasati, and not quite there. Still 2 metres shy for the Storm, who lead 20-0 against West Tigers. 18 left in the first half. Jerome Hughes with a pass that looked almost forward there for Cooper Clark, and it will be second last play here for the Storm. Grant and the bright sunshine eastern side, bounce wide there on the wing, and now Hugo Peel. In fact, it's Howarth who brings it back in, and taken down 13 out from that southern line, centre field. On this last play, Grant fires the pass to Hughes, and now a run there from Lasati. He's almost got there himself, but he was taken down by Taylor May. But we change over. West Tigers go back in possession. They trail 20 points to 0, 17 and a half left.
Interesting option there from Jerome Hughes, choosing to run it on the last tackle. They were in an identical spot where they put the kick over for Will Warbrick, who went over the top of Lauliga, I think, for the second try. So interesting they haven't gone back to the well there.
Scored 4 tries in the first 12 minutes, the Melbourne Storm. Now it's going to be penalty West Tigers, their first of the game. Lockie from Bulladila says the best way to watch the footy in the pool with the images provided by Grandstand or ABC Sport. Cheering for the Tigers, but I tip the Storm.
In the pool? Where the hell is he? What's in the game if he's in the pool?
Yeah, well, there's the radio. Look, see? We are the pitches. We're the word pitches on the radio.
In the pool. It's the middle of winter.
But where's Bulladila? Is that in Queensland or somewhere?
I wouldn't have a clue.
It sounds very Queenslandy. Yeah. 12 short of the halfway here. West Tigers on the advance. They trail 20 points to 0, 16-50. Sounds familiar. Off the eastern side now with West Tigers, and Xiaomi Mi gets it on here for Nuabole. Will now play it. Hope shares a pass right-hand side. Mason, the fullback, and now Kai Pearce-Paul taken down by Falongo and Howarth. Will play it 40 out, 20 in, as Mason arrives at dummy half. Sent wide here back to Jerome Luai. Inside ball, Xiaomi Mi, who of course is the oldest of the Fano brothers, of the ones currently playing. 40 out from that northern line here. Second last tackle here for West Tigers. Back through hands, Madden to Mason, and he got Munster pretty strong there on the attack there. Mason still going, and now stopped 25 out. They come short side right as Herbert's pass finds Madden, kicks wide for the corner, and it's been lost down there by Falongo. Went up there for the high ball, but will bounce out the back there, as Harry Grant's best option is to run it dead, touch in goal. So it'll be Melbourne 20, West Tigers 0, 15:50 left in this first half, Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, this is what the West Tigers need. They just need to put a bit of pressure on the Melbourne Storm. It was a great effort by Alex Seafarth, just come on the field. He actually rushed across and put that bit of effort in to make sure he hit Falongo as he hit the ground, which knocked the ball out, which got them this repeat set with a dropout. Bulladela's
mid-north coast, I think, looking at the map. So it's just south of Fossa and slightly inland. So I'm sure it's warm up there, though, that part of New South Wales. So comes back here from the dropout, and Luke Laulalii brings it back for West Tigers. 25 out centre field. Madden back off here now for Nuabole. Melbourne leads 20 points to 0 with 15 left in this first half at Amy Park in Melbourne. Across now for Madden. Now Luai, his halves partner. Inside ball, Taylor May. And he can't get an option going there, so he runs that footy into Cooper Clark, makes the tackle. 13 out centre field. Dummy half Hope. A flat ball finds Twal, and now Madden to Kai Pearce-Paul, wrapped up down there by Howarth and Munster. He'll play it 9 away from that Melbourne Storm line. From dummy half, Hope finds Madden. Back here again now, ball A to Luai. Nailed by Mini coming off the line. Now it'll be last play West Tigers, 17 out centre field. They trail 20 points to 0 at the hands of Melbourne. First receiver is Madden. On in turn here to Fainu, to May, and now again for Laulalii as they run the footy on the last play. May thinks he might have scored here in the corner. There were 4 Melbourne defenders around him, and Taylor May has scored the try somehow. So the outstretched arm gets there deep in that northwestern corner of Amy Park And the West Tigers have their first try. 20 points to 4, kick to come with 14 left in the first half.
There was absolutely nothing on. Lauliti got monstered as he got the ball on the last, but somehow managed to flick it out the back. And Taylor May did a good job staying with it. And he had a bit of work to do, Taylor May. Come up to Suafalongo, drove straight through him, trying the corner, and Falongo is still down.
Yeah, that's concerning for the Storm. We'll keep an eye on that. Touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, speaking of Storm injuries, Trent Liero did go into the sheds, but he's now come back up and has been working on the bike, so that throat or neck issue that he might have had. But May did some great work there and breathing some life into the Tigers game eventually.
No Terrell May, but Taylor May has scored the West Tigers' first try. They were against those 4 straight tries in the first 12 minutes, an 80% ball at one stage of the Melbourne Storm. The West Tigers with a slow start, but they find some points here. And now Jock Madden lines up the kick 24 metres out and a metre in from the western side. Around the grounds, by the way, in the New South Wales Cup, Newtown 12 leads South 0 in the first half. Jersey Flegg first half is 20 all, Raiders and Panthers. Queensland Cup first half, Seagulls 14, Clydesdales 0, Mackay Cutters 0, trail the PNG Hunters 8. Jock Madden's just had the ball come off the tee, so he's just going to line up again.
Yeah, it looks like Falongo's coming off with a HIA. It's going to be interesting to see what the Storm do with their shuffle, because I imagine Hugo Peel will probably go back to fullback.
He said he's been their best player this year, Falongo. So some concerns there. AFL second quarter, Melbourne 54 leads West Coast 23 at Docklands. Here is Jock Madden. He's, of course, in for Adam Dewey, who's out with a shoulder dislocation. Back at West Tigers after 3 years at the Broncos. To make it 20 points to 6 here at a sunny Amy Park in Melbourne. In he comes, right foot kick and misses by a long way to the near side. And it remains a Melbourne 20. West Tigers 4 with 12:40 on the clock here in the first half. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. 0467920222. G'day boys, listening in while having a game of golf at beautiful Shelley Beach on the central coast of New South Wales. Cheers, Tim from Newey. Glenn from Canberra. Shout out, much love to my poor old mummy bear, Helen Storer, who is spending Mother's Day in the Canberra hospital. Thanks to the whole ABC Sport team, but not only great professionals, entertainers alike, but also highly quality human beings, as Maury would say. Thank you, Glenn, and best wishes to your mum, Helen, on Mother's Day especially. Peggy in Wood Park says, we don't want another horror result from the West Tigers again this week. I'm sure Tigers fans certainly concur, and Benji Marshall concurs as well. But they scored the most recent try in the game, and here's their set after points as it's run back there by Fanua Bolle. Now comes to Taruva on tackle 2. He's already 30 out from his own line. It is the Storm 20, the Tigers 4 here on ABC Sport with 12:20 left in this first half. We'll get to Ian Cohen shortly for an update on Suafalongo, who's come off for an HIA. 40 out, 20 in western side. Tackled and playing it now, Sione Fainu. Off it comes now for Alex Seyfarth. His 99th NRL game today. They shift it from left to right. There's some run for Taruva, but Howarth gets him. 40 out, only about 5 in from the eastern side. And Patrick Herbert, he just steamrolled Harry Grant there before he stopped 30 out. Grant slow getting up in back play. It's been lost out there by Tristan Hope off the contact of Munster. Still alive though for West Tigers somehow. Last play kick goes up, spilled back here for the Storm, so it's 6 more Tigers. The pass was messy though. Missed Jerome Luai. Comes to Taylor May. He has one fend here on Lasati and throws the ball at the back. It's picked up by his teammate. Still alive here with Lauliti and now Luai. And Heath Mason now brought down. 10 out, 10 in western side. Chance for back-to-back points here. So it's a full set for West Tigers. They had repeat ball in this attacking foray. From left to right they go as the pass comes wide from Herbert to Taruva. And now the winger is dragged down. 7 out for that northern line. Set restart West Tigers. So a full set now inside that 10-metre line. Seyfarth angles his run toward the post. Cooper Clark gets him. So too Grant and Lasati. And he'll play it now. Half a dozen out from that northern goal line. Hope dummy half. Off to Madden. Runs it now for Luai. And now he's wrapped up by Yatoi Kamanu. Offload comes on the bounce for Tristan Hope. And now a run here through Sione Fainu. He'll play it a metre out from that In fact, it's Royce Hunt. Comes back here for Madden. Luai. Taylor May. Dummies to the corner here and goes himself. Not quite. Hughes gets him low. And he'll play it now. About 3.5 out from Melbourne's line all in. Luai feeds it back now for Seafarth. And he surrenders on the Josh King tackle. It'll be last play Tigers. 10 outs on the field. They'll trail 20 points to 4. Now Jerome Luai. Inside ball to Royce Hunt. And Royce Hunt runs that footy and is dragged down by Josh King. So it's a changeover. Melbourne's defence hangs on, Hoffy, and they keep a 20 points to 4 lead.
Yeah, huge defensive set by the Melbourne Storm. That's what they've been terrible at, defending 6 agains. They got one there and managed to defend it. The West Tigers threw a lot of football at them, but there was some desperation tackles, especially Jerome Hughes and Cameron Munster getting themselves as last line of defence. Great job.
And now Joe Chan off the bench as well. So a few changes being made for both sides inside this first half hour or so. From where it was at 20 points to 0, we thought we'd have some record territory here, but things have slowed up somewhat by way of scoring. The Tigers find their way back in the game. Jerome Hughes slipped one tackle, but Luai gets into the back of him and stops him 2 metres shy of halfway on this second last play for the Storm. Grant scoops off the deck now, comes to Cooper Clark up inside the West Tigers half of Laney Park, the southern half of the ground, and now he'll play it for Grant on to Munster, who kicks to end the set, and Mason will wait for a favourable bounce. The West Tigers fullback gets away from one tackle, but not so the desperate stuff of Hugo Peel. Now they'll play it 15 out from their own line. In goes Herbert again. Gains about 8 or 9 here now for the West Tigers. Mason dummy half off to Taruva. Opts to go centre field now. He's 30 out. On tackle 4 now for the Tigers, who trail 20 points to 4 at the hands of the Storm here in Melbourne. Right to left they go. Luai. No look pass across here for Sione Fainu. And down low on the tackle is Lasati. Up top, Jerome Hughes. Just short of the halfway now with Luai. Back to Alex Twal. Offload untidy. He was at knockdown with the Storm. It's going to be last play Tigers. So Seafarth will play it now for the man at dummy half in Latu Fainu. So he's out there as well. And Madden will close the set with the kick downfield. And Nick Meany, who's playing fullback in the absence of Sua Falongo, will bring it back to his own 30-metre line. Melbourne 20, West Tigers 4 with 8 minutes left in this first half.
Yeah, there's a good little arm wrestle shaping up here. Both teams, they're getting it back as the Melbourne Storm get a 6 again by the referee. There's a good little opportunity for both teams really to try and build pressure, to try either team to get points just before half-time.
Set restart Melbourne, as you said, Hoffy. Metre over halfway as Grant links up now with Lasati. A barnstorming run here before he's met by Seafarth. 35 out from that southern line of Amy Park as Jerome Hughes back to Munster and now Meany. The shift comes to the left-hand side. Howarth has support there with Peel on the outside but can't get the pass away. Good post-contact game though as Madden was having him. But Howarth gets to within 8 metres of that southern line. Peel dummy half. Off to Munster and now Grant takes it inside 10. Shares it back here for Davy Mawali. He's claimed now. Hand in the air from Adam G. Last play Melbourne. Hughes gets it from Grant. Pass Messi out the back. Picked up by Joe Chan. Still the last here for the Storm. Offloads back here for Munster. He'll kick wide for Warbrick. Careful Taylor May. He gets there first, Taylor May, and has to ground the footy, which will force a line drop out West Tigers, and it remains Melbourne 20, West Tigers 4 with 7 minutes left in this first half. Touchline we go, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, Sua Falongo's gone down with a category 2, so he's being assessed at the moment for that HIA. And Mr. Spare Parts, who will be missed by Melbourne Storm next year, no doubt about that. Nick Meany has slotted into fullback.
So, West Tigers first line drop out of the game so far. The penalties have been 3-1 Melbourne, a total of 4-2 set restarts. Short drop out has taken 15 out by Will Warbrick and now gets to within 8 metres of the West Tigers line. A chance for more points here for the home side. Grant finds Cooper Clark at first receiver and he is only 3 metres shy of that Tigers line now, left-hand side of the sticks. Grant burrows from dummy half himself and he might have just recovered the footy. Oh, it almost came loose there, Harry Grant. But he does score the try here for the Melbourne Storm. 24-4 kick to come. Harry Grant scores from right under the black dot.
Yeah, that's just too easy. It was a strong run by Cooper Clark, but I wouldn't say it was an essentially quick play the ball. Harry Grant just came back. He had Heath Mason in front of him, got lower than his opposition and managed to plant the ball down under the sticks. That'll disappoint Benji Marshall because I thought they were getting themselves back into the game. But it's amazing that you get that 6 again, then get a drop out. That just builds the pressure and Melbourne Storm get the points.
Touchline we go, Ian Cohen.
Spoke to Harry Grant's mum earlier before the match. She's very proud of her son, obviously, but all the Melbourne Storm parents and mums and dads are all here. They ran the Mother's Day Classic this morning and they'll be enjoying what they're seeing so far.
Just to clarify as well, in case I did mention, Alex Twal report for that high fend on Trent Liero, who is also being assessed for his potential throat injury. So Melbourne 24, West Tigers 4. Here's 2 more points coming up directly in front for Nick Meaney. He missed his first couple of conversions on the sideline, and here he is for 3 out of 5. Nick Meaney, and he does just that. So it is Melbourne 26, West Tigers 4, with under 5 minutes left in this first half on ABC Sport. Icarus says, afternoon Spriggsy and crew. Ryan sounds like Billy Moore sometimes in the call. Is Billy Moore about you? Yeah.
Do I?
Yeah, Billy's. Yeah, there's a certain intensity and sort of gravelly to it. I like it.
That's not a bad thing.
It's a good comparison.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Thank you, Icarus, for your text. Loving the call so far, boys, while enjoying doing a bit of beekeeping. Good to see Melbourne on the right end of the scoreboard so far from Vern.
I won't be saying the word that he says.
Oh, yes, yeah. That'll be coming up in a few weeks' time.
I won't utter it.
No. But I asked you before about people's sentiments around Craig Bellamy. And a lot of your former teammates have said he's had the biggest influence on their entire football life, if not their life. I'm sure you're the same.
Yeah, I came down as an 18-year-old, and Craig, in my formative years, was a massive part of my life and played with my old man and has known me since I was born. So we all of us want Craig just to, thinking all the best for him.
26-4, the scoreline here. The Storm's favour. Harry Grant, dummy half. Gets play 3 underway, and now taken down that man, Davey Mawali, who's off to Manly next year, next south of Sydney Rabbitoh. Bit of wrestle there on the ground, and now I reckon was there a punch thrown? There was certainly some demonstration going on now, because Harry Grant was on the ground, and it looked like, was it Latu Fainu, who's from what looked like a striking motion. There's still players being separated. That was certainly picked up by Harry Grant's teammates, and that's why a lot of exception was taken.
Yeah, it was David Mawali running from a long way. He spotted something he definitely didn't like.
So we'll see what comes of this. Harry Grant comes down hard in the tackle, and he goes to sort of push off Fainu, I think it is, Latu Fainu, and might have copped a bit of a strike of some description. Let's have a listen to the referee.
Jerome comes in the second.
So there'll be some conversation with Chris Butler in the bunker.
Yep, Latu.
So Latu Fainu has the strongest case to answer here.
You've got the penalty. Make sure your blokes don't run in, okay? 16, Davey especially, and flares it up. You keep that under control, Jerome. Penalties against you. Because Latu goes on with it on the ground and ends up with a facial. He's on report. Clean the discipline up now. That's a reaction, though. No, he goes on with it.
So he's arguing it was first Harry Grant. So it was retaliation.
From watching the replay, I actually did think Harry Grant might have done the first sort of react to it and then got reacted from the reaction.
On report, Latu Fainu, the Melbourne Storm have a penalty on this western side of the ground. They will tap from about 40 out from the West Tigers line. 3:50 left in this first half in Melbourne. There's the Storm 26, the West Tigers 4. And it's brought up field here by Joe Chan. Adam G's blowing time off because there will be an assessment here on Alex Twal, as he was saying. He's going to... Yeah, there we go. Alex Twal getting sent to the head bin.
So, referee got the call from the bunker. They've obviously spotted something like that with Alex Twal. Should be a category 2. So here we come off. Get to Koza very shortly as the Storm will rumble upfield here.
What is the Mother's Day Classic? Ask one text. It's a fun one, isn't it? I saw everyone in their bibs and I arrived this morning, the Mother's Day Classic, the MDC, and all the sort of the post-run activities, which are just in the parklands here, not far from the big park precinct. Harry Grant, 25 out. Off here to Jerome Luai. Inside ball, Cooper Clark with a strong run, gains a dozen, and he's 17 out, left-hand side of the post. 3.5 left, first half in Melbourne, as Munster off to Jerome Hughes, running, passing, Mini goes wide for Warbrick. It came to him, and Warbrick, is he grounding? He was wrapped up by Laulaligi. He's not convinced, nor is ref Adam G.
Lucky. We got no try and tackle 4. Leaks held up. He
was right on that corner as well, so there might be a few things working against Will Warbrick here.
Yeah, it was a hell of an effort by Warbrick to get close. Worried about his foot too, maybe.
Cleared all the contact from the Tigers defenders. Will Warbrick's in currently in the field of play. See the ball gets to the ground. We just need to get some idea.
Reverse accurate here.
The try line or not.
So they said the ball's hit the ground. It's just whether or not it's over the try line.
Looks like he's a little bit short from what we can see on that angle. He's short of the line. Yeah. So he's just warned Jerome Luai a couple of times, Adam G, about don't talk to me while I'm having a chat to the bunker.
You can see on this angle here, the ball is short of the try line.
So it won't be a second try for Will Warbrick. He then goes less than touch, I think. Yeah, he's up against that.
I just find it amazing Melbourne Storm still
See
put another
number
kick
3,
up.
the ball hits the line short.
So the question is
And then goes up and remains held up.
in goal.
Just seeing whether he goes in and touch it
Yeah,
at any point.
we're getting there, Bucky. All right, 3:20 left in the game on the first half at least. 26-4 Melbourne, the scoreline.
We can't look at two things at once. We've got to go through the first thing, then the second thing, then the third thing.
We need more bunkers, you reckon?
See,
Definitely
where he touches the touch line. We have a decision.
There we go. So we say on the touchline. So, yeah, okay. That was the clarification there. So, it remains Melbourne 26, Tigers 4. And it will be West Tigers ball. I played the ball on out of their own end here, the West Tigers.
It was good defence. I thought Will Warbrick got there, but the swarming defence from the Tigers coming across, and Laulaligi and Taylor May did a very good job.
On the 10-metre line. Get to your text shortly, 0467 920 222, and around the grounds as well. As the Tigers go on the attack, trailing 26-4 here against the Storm in Melbourne. So here is Big Royce Hunt. His 100th NRL game. I'll have to grow up in Kalgoorlie. Play at 15 out from that southern end. Latu Fino on report a short time ago for his wrestle with Harry Grant. Safe after play at 25 out. Fired back here. Latu Fino now Madden. Back the left-hand side. Luai runs the footy here. He was dragged out from behind by Jerome Hughes. And now played for Taylor May. Back to Madden here. Second last play for Big Royce Hunt. And he stopped 2 metres shy of that halfway line here at a now sunny Amy Park in Melbourne. Latu Fino finds Madden, and he will close the set with a high kick down towards the wing of Hugo Peel. He'll take it 20 out from his own line. And might have caught one there. Oh no, he was a bit low. So Fanua Bolle will not be penalised here. And he'll play it 20 out from his own line, Hugo Peel. Now across for Jack Howard. He's been among their best players so far with the Storm. Now Grant off to Mini. Dummies and takes the contact of Kai Pearce-Paul. He's on his back now, 35 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Grant on tackle 4 now for the Storm. 26-4 their lead inside the last 2 minutes here before we get to half-time. Of course, we'll preview Panthers and Raiders coming up next with Andrew Moore, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs. Over halfway they go now, 40 out is where it's played by Sean Blore. Grant comes short side left for the kick from Munster. Up it goes. Heath Mason watches it, leaps up there with Jerome Hughes watching him and brings it down cleanly, and he'll play at 17 out from his own line.
Yeah, really good confident take by Heath Mason. He was under a lot of pressure from Jerome Hughes coming through. As we see it,
West Tigers out. So West Tigers penalty for the rake.
Okay, a minute 20 go. This is a good opportunity for the West Tigers to get some points coming into half-time.
New South Wales Cup first half, South 12, Newtown, in fact, leading there 16. Jersey Flegg second half, Raiders and Panthers are still 20 all. Queensland Cup first half, Seagulls 18, Clydesdales 12. That's the Tweed Seagulls, I think. Hunters 14 lead, Mackay Cutters 10. And AFL third quarter, Melbourne 66 leads West Coast 30, happening across town here at Docklands. Tigers on the attack here, play 3. Latu find dummy half and now on to Madden. To Kai Pearce-Paul, speaking of those big rangy back rowers, pops it back now for Heath Mason, his fullback, and Mason meets his demise on that left edge Melbourne defence. Latu finally goes from dummy half, gains a quick 5 or 6. He's 20 out now from that northern end in front of the Billy Slater stand. Open side left here now for the Tigers. Second last play. Madden finds Luai, and Luai draws and takes the contact here of Grant and Hughes. Last play Tigers, 13 out centre field. Kick from Madden to the corner. Up it goes. Oh, leap there. Pearce-Paul. It went back here. It's going to be 6 more West Tigers. The Storm got a touch on that ball. Now it's been lost by the Storm. So Tigers scrum, 10 out centre field.
They won't pack it.
In fact, they'll yeah, that's the clock. Okay, you're right. The seconds have ticked down. So, yes, it is half-time, and that will be Melbourne 26, West Tigers 4. It was an explosive start to the game, Hoffy, with those tries to Saw Falongo, Will Warbrick and Cameron Munster, and then Jerome Hughes. 4 tries in 12 minutes. After that, it was, 20 points to 0. Taylor May scored. West Tigers only try in the 25th minute, and no successful conversion was coming there from Madden, wasn't it? They were 20 points to 4, and then Harry Grant scored after 33 minutes. Nick Meaney 3 from 5 in that first half. Your thoughts on the opening 40 here in Melbourne?
Yeah, obviously very strong start by Melbourne getting the points away. The Tigers did fight back, but look, there's 2 numbers that are on the scoreboard with the final score. What's the final? 26 points to 4. There's only one of those numbers Craig Bellamy's going to worry about, and that's the 4 points, because their defence has been dreadful these past couple of weeks. But keeping the West Tigers, who have had a bit of ball, bit of field position, to keep them to 4 points is a great effort.
Ian Cohen, your thoughts from down there and a recap on a few of the little storylines from the sideline.
Yeah, well, the HIAs have certainly been keeping us busy for the last 5 or 10 minutes. The first bit is that Silfar Longo is out with the HIA, but also a broken cheek.
Ooh.
You can see he's got the ice on the cheek down. If you have a look down here, he's just standing in front of me here. He has got the ice on a broken cheek. So how many weeks that is, not really sure. And the Alex Toll one was really interesting. It was a Cat 2 that came out of the bunker. Then the independent doctor adjudged it a Cat 3, but the interchange had already happened. So it went back to being a Cat 2. So that was why there was some confusion at the top of the race before he headed into the sheds. And obviously they've now got the half-time to be able to work that out. But look, Melbourne Storm will be very happy with that. It certainly looked like it was going to be a cricket score in the first 20 minutes or so, and then West Tigers got themselves back into it. So I reckon we're in for a cracking final 40 minutes here, and Tigers obviously looking forward to having a win here for the first time in about 7 or 8 visits. But they're in the match, and Melbourne Storm obviously have found some much-needed confidence.
Melbourne have won their last 8 games against West Tigers. The last time the Tigers did beat them was a Benji Marshall winning field goal, of course, the current coach of the West Tigers. Thank you, Koza. 26-4, the halftime score here. A couple of your texts quickly, 0467 920 222. Enjoying your call of the game while camping on Four Corners Station via, how do you say that? Namagi. No, where's that? Namagi. After a feed for lunch at the Namagi pub. Nimigi, maybe. Thanks, Michael and G. Sorry I butchered your Namagi pub pronunciation there. Keep those texts coming, 07 920 222. And to one text, I will not call this place Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. It just sounds ridiculous. Amy Park was its first name, really. So I know it sort of seems to defy ABC convention, but we get permission to call Amy Park.
I think we get that every week, don't we?
We do. New South Wales Cup first half, Souths trail the Jets 16-12. Jersey Flegg, Raiders 20, Panthers 20. Queensland Cup, no change to our last score. Seagulls 18, Clydesdales 12. PNG Hunters 14 leads, Mackay Cutters 10. AFL third quarter, Melbourne 72 leads, West Coast 30. And in the Women's A-League semi-final, extra time there, Wellington Phoenix 2, In fact, sorry, it's the extra time, but it's aggregate. So Phoenix 2 leads Brisbane Roar 0. We'll preview Canberra and Penrith up next. Right now, it's on ABC News.
ABC News, good afternoon. I'm William Howard Evans. One Nation leader Pauline Hanson has described the party's victory in the Farrer by-election as resounding. Candidate David Farley leads the count in the southern New South Wales seat by 14,000 ballots, with more than 80% of votes counted. Ms Hanson says the fall in support for the Liberal and Nationals shows they're out of touch, and the outcome is a very good sign for the future of her party.
This set a precedent now that people will feel comfortable they can cast a vote for One Nation.
The Labor government in Victoria has echoed comments by former Liberal leader Susan Lee over the party's stunning defeat in the Farrer by-election. After One Nation's victory in the former coalition stronghold in regional New South Wales, Ms Lee says the Liberal Party must act with humility. Victorian Minister Melissa Horne has followed the comments, saying men in the party are creating division that is losing them votes.
At the Farrer by-election, you had a long-serving, popular local member who stepped up after the Albanese landslide and stood in as the opposition leader. She was treated utterly appallingly by her own party, by a group of blokes that did nothing but undermine her leadership.
Shadow Treasurer Tim Wilson says the government's mooted overhaul of property tax breaks are hard to support in principle. The Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, is expected to wind back the capital gains tax discount and negative gearing in Tuesday's budget, declaring the housing market is broken. Any changes will need the support of either the Greens or the coalition in the Senate. Mr Wilson has told Insider's host David Spears Labor is only looking to increase taxes in its budget.
The government is just taking from young Australians and from older Australians and not giving them anything in return. It's very hard to see how you could back that.
Nonetheless, you're open to looking at whatever they do here.
On the principle of what we're seeing so far, it would be very hard to support.
Hezbollah militants say they've launched rockets and drones into northern Israel after the latest Israeli strikes in southern Lebanon killed at least 39 people. The BBC's Hugo Beshega has visited a building targeted by Israeli forces.
Residents have told us that 3 families who had been displaced because of the war were living in this building that has been completely destroyed. Now, the victims of this attack include a child who was 2 years old. Attacks like this are happening every day across southern Lebanon. The ceasefire here has failed to stop the war. Israel says it is targeting Hezbollah, accusing it of violating the deal, but often it's civilians who are being killed.
The head of the World Health Organization is seeking to reassure the people of the Spanish island of Tenerife ahead of the expected arrival of the cruise ship impacted by hantavirus. 3 passengers have died and several others are ill after contracting a rare strain of the virus, usually transmitted by contact with rodents. The WHO is assuring local residents that passengers will be brought ashore in sealed vehicles and flown straight out. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says this is not COVID and the risk to the local population is low.
When we say this, we don't take it lightly. And that's what I try to address in my message to the people of Tenerife. We hear you, we understand, but the situation is much better now.
Officials in the US state of Florida say about a dozen people have been taken to hospital with injuries suffered in a boat explosion near Miami. They say a charter boat was in Biscayne Bay when the blast erupted on board, and more than 24 rescue teams have responded. There's no information yet on the condition of those who have been injured. New South Wales Police has confirmed a woman was asked to move on after she allegedly made offensive anti-Semitic comments towards a group of people at a netball game in Sydney's eastern suburbs yesterday. Officers were called to the netball courts in Maroubra, where they spoke to a 42-year-old woman and told her to leave. The woman reportedly hurled an anti-Semitic slur at a Jewish team during an under-12s match. State Labor frontbencher Penny Sharp says it's horrifying.
This kind of behaviour behaviour is absolutely unacceptable. Kids playing sport on a Saturday morning, particularly Jewish kids, should not have to deal with that, nor should their families. The police are investigating and we welcome that. They will continue to do so as they must.
And French President Emmanuel Macron is due to arrive in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, later today. He'll be meeting with his Kenyan counterpart, William Ruto, as he seeks to redefine France's relationship with Africa. This is ABC News.
There's no doubt that country music is bigger than ever right now. Join me, Outback Tom, as I get you around the artists that are blazing a trail. Listen to Country Club, Sunday night at 6 on ABC Country or anytime you like on the ABC Listen app. ABC sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
Grant, open side left now for Melbourne. Hughes to Munster. On and turn they go again. And Farlongo goes himself. He done it out wide, but took a few steps and plants it down cleanly. And the Storm are in first after 2.5 minutes. 17 out centre field. Grant goes from dummy half. Angles the pass wide here for Jerome Hughes. He kicks to the corner. Warbrick leaps up, brings it down, goes over to score. Well, you can't keep Will Warbrick down. Stormer in again. 8-0. Play it now. 8 short of the halfway. Munster holds the footy after a dummy. Offloads back here in the path of Harry Grant. Wide now to Howard. Over halfway he goes. Pass wide for Hugo Peel. Chased by Taruba. Back for Harry Grant. Still alive here. Lasati to Munster. 10 out. Goes the rest of the way. Munster scores on the posts. Great build-up. Great team footy from the Melbourne Storm, who scored their third try inside 9 minutes. 5 inside Tigers territory. Grant runs straight from dummy half. Who was there? He sends the pass out to Jerome Hughes and he goes the rest of the way. Well, that was just far too easy. There was just the lone fullback meeting Harry Grant front on, and the pass went wide beyond Heath Mason. Harry Grant links up with Jerome Hughes, and he is only 3 metres shy of that Tigers line now, left-hand side of the sticks. Grant burrows from dummy half himself, but he might have just recovered the footy. Oh, it almost came loose there, Harry Grant, but he does score the try here for the Melbourne Storm.
ABC sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio
and ABC Listen.
Half-time here in Melbourne, where the Storm 26 leads West Tigers 4. Up next, we're headed back to Canberra, Andrew Moore, for the Raiders and the Panthers.
Yeah, rematch, Spriggy, of the 1990 and 1991 Grand Finals, Canberra v Penrith. Team users through here on this stunning, beautiful day in the nation's capital. Jayden Brayley, the Canberra lock, drops back to the bench, and Morgan Smithies, the Englishman, will start in jersey number 17. That's the only change for Canberra, and there are no changes to Penrith. They are 1-19. Referee will be Ashley Klein, with Grant Atkins in the bunker. And Penrith won 4 of its last 5 games at this venue, but Canberra has beaten Penrith twice in a row. Luke Lewis, good afternoon to you. I've got a feeling this is going to be a lot closer than some think. What are you thinking?
Yeah, good afternoon. I am thinking the same, to be fair. I think the Panthers, they've honed in on their game, but I feel like the inclusions for the Canberra Raiders side are huge. They play well when this side lines up. They look great on paper. They're playing here in front of a packed house. When I was coming in, I think Penrith would win pretty comfortably and easily. But the more I sit here and the way the afternoon's sort of shaping up and the feel out there, it feels like there's a really good game on our hands. So I think it's going to be tight. I'm going obviously Penrith to win, but I've got Penrith to win by 8.
Well, we went looking for something to eat early. We ran into the great Ricky Stewart downstairs, had a chat. He looks very relaxed.
Very relaxed. Donny Ferner, seen him down there. He's nice and chilled out. But and we even seen some of the Panthers boys walking in just up in front of us, but they look pretty chilled. So
everyone's chilled.
It's one of those type of days where you want to be here playing footy. It's the perfect weather, and there's not a cloud in the sky, and the field looks great. So I'm expecting a fast, a lot of ball movement and a lot of spectacular tries this afternoon.
Well, under the word chilled in the Oxford Dictionary is John Gibbs. Gibbsy is here. Johnny, good afternoon to you once again. What are you thinking about today?
Good afternoon, Andrew and Luke.
Oh, that's very unchilled.
Well, I just thought I'd thaw out a little bit. I'm expecting a really exciting game too, an intriguing battle. I think last week, without some key players, Canberra did a good job to get over the top of the Titans. I know it's only the Titans, but Titans started favourite in that match. They did a really good job. and that game in Mudgee last year was one of the great games of the year, the Golden Point game. So I do expect it to be a close contest. If Canberra are to go okay in this game, they're going to have to tighten up their right-hand defence. So with Matt Timmacore, good attacking player, but gee, he can get lost in defence. And if they don't, tidy things up there with Timmacore and Jed Stewart, they're in trouble, because most of Penrith's tries, so they score more than anyone, come down the left side. So you've got the weakest right side up against the best left side. So they are going to be in a lot of trouble. But this is a big game for Canberra. They're going to bye next week. This is the first of 4 games in a row at home, so they can get on a little bit of a mini charge here. So I'm expecting them to come out firing.
Let me ask you this question, John Gibbs. Tom Jenkins, 19 tries so far in the year, 16 tries on the year. Does he score today?
Yes, he will, because he's playing a weak right defence. He's been in a little bit of a drought, but I think you get things back on track.
He's 2 games in a row not scoring a drought.
He's going 4.
When you've been scoring at the rate he does, certainly this is an opportunity. But
I spoke to him on Monday. He said exactly the same. He's going through a little drought. And Louis, my question for you is...
Thank you.
Ethan Strange and Hudson Young back for Canberra. Which one's more important to the Raiders side?
Oh, look, Ethan Strange huge. I'm going to say Hudson Young, purely just with the way that he's been playing, his leadership out in the field. And I feel like a lot of players look up to him now. When they see him over there, they know that he's obviously played for Australia and New South Wales, and just adds that little bit of confidence factor. So I think he's huge for him.
His passion's inspirational.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good one, Spriggy. Beautiful day. Crowd building nicely. In the Jersey flag, there's 19 minutes to go. Penrith 26, leading Canberra 20. New South Wales Cup will be played after the NRL game, which gets underway at 4:05. Canberra against Penrith as the Panthers score in the flag to now lead 30 points to 20 with a keep to come, Brett.
Thank you, Maury, Louis, Gibbsy. We'll get to you within the hour, I hope. I can't imagine this will go any longer than it needs to be. But the Storm 26 leads West, Tigers 4. The second half is just mere seconds away. People have sent pronunciation guides here on Namaji. Different ones here. Someone said Namaji as well. Thank you, Graham, for your text. Simon in Ivanhoe is enjoying the call while working out in the gym. Go Storm. Thank you, Simon. Frank and Wollongong asked the point here, and we'll explore this as we go if it gets worse for West Tigers. Does the Jerome Luai PNG announcement start to sort of become a little... Do you reckon just on some level the players are affected by that? He's still a year and a bit to go.
You shouldn't. It shouldn't, because to be quite honest, they're professional players, and it happens every year.
They kick off here, the West Tigers. So Storm have first use out of that southern end of Amy Park, and running into the line here is Josh King. And he'll be getting up here 10 metres out from his own line. It's Ian Cohen on the touchline shortly as well. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Ryan Hoffman, of course a West Junior Hoffy as well. It's your history with this club. This before your senior career. Comes right hand side now is Jerome Hughes.
Magpies, Spriggy, Magpies.
West Magpies, that's the West. 30 out. West Magpies won here earlier, by the way, in the New South Wales Cup, 38-22. 11 metres short of the halfway is where it is played now by Mawali, and now they rumble up through centre field with Nick Meaney. Surrounded there by 3 Tigers defenders. Right-hand side as Grant finds Hughes. And his right foot kick is quite a long one down towards the 10-metre line, and brought back there by Laola Leahy. And it remains 26-4 here inside the first minute and a half of this second half on NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Now it's opposite winger in Taruva, who's brought down. His last tries were a hat-trick against Newcastle back in round 6. He's 4 tries on the year so far, Sunia Taruva. They get over the 30 here, and a set restart too for their troubles. So Herbert gets up to play it now, a set restart, a full 6 here now as Seyfarth. He'll come across now, flick pass from May to allow the Leahy's run down now. 40 out, about 8 in from the eastern side. Luai dummy half. A little skip and a jump there on Lasati, and now sends the pass all the way across to centre field. Royce Hunt feeds it back now for Heath Mason. And a fullback is tackled by Munster. 35 out from that southern line. They come right-hand side. Madden inside ball. Now the Kai-Pierce Paul almost broke that line. And now back to Latu Fino. He was run down again by Munster and will now play at 25 out from the Melbourne line. Dummy half, Seafarth across now, Madden, and on in turn as they get inside that red zone, 20 in from the eastern side. It's rolled back there by Xiaomi Mi, and now it comes from left to right. Madden's pass was untidy. Law had to go get on the bounce, and now sends it back to Heath Mason. He's too quick for Cooper Clark. No, he's not. Clark gets him with just sheer force. Stops him 11 out, left-hand side. It's the last play for West Tigers as Madden back to Mason. Almost lost it on the last play, and that will be a changeover as he's tackled down there about 5 shy of the Melbourne Storm line. So Storm back on the attack, 26-4 their lead. 3 minutes played, second half. Touchline we go, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, thanks, Briggy. With the West Tigers, it was all about fast start and earning your right to get back into the competition as well, and they certainly have done that in patches, it must be said. For Storm, it was watch out for the expansive Tigers play, and they're really happy, obviously, with the opening 20 minutes. They feel like they're getting back to some sort of Storm football.
Nimmergy, by the way. Thank you to Shane from Bathurst, and thanks to the Western Shark. This is G, like Andrew G, or Adam G, our referee here at Amy Park. 26-4 the Melbourne lead. Thank you, Koza. Grant from dummy half shares it with Cooper Clark. Only gains a half a dozen here, and brought down a metre inside West Tigers territory. West Junior himself, Cooper Clark, comes right-hand side, and now Jerome Hughes comes out wide again as that will be that last play.
Not his best option there, Jerome Hughes. I think it would have been better suited rather than try and get tricky at the start of the half. Just kick it down deep, force the Tigers to go 80 metres to score a try.
Instead, Joe Chan was tackled. So, yeah, Tigers here will have it 40 out from their own line, and they still trail 26-4 at the hands of the Storm, looking to arrest this 7-game losing streak. Set restart Tigers. It's with River first of all, and 4 purple jerseys surround him, metre short of the halfway, as Harry Grant at dummy marker, and Adam G, who they sometimes call Osher, I'm told, is in reference to Andrew G. Over halfway they go. Royce Hunt, and he gains a handful of metres here. Inside Storm territory, centre field. Latu Finu finds the running Mad. Second man here, Jerome Luai. Darts in there on Lasardi, who was too strong for him. And he'll play at 30 out, 20 in eastern side. Comes across to first receiver Madden. And again from left to right, Seafarth back to his fullback Mason. And Cam Munster slams him down, so too Cooper Clark. 30 out from that Melbourne line. Second last play, Tigers on the edge there for Kai Pearce-Paul, and now back for Herbert. They got Munster and Grant for company. Stop 25 out. Last play, Tigers. Madden, hurried kick. Up it goes. Pearce-Paul will leap up there with Hugo Peel, and the youngster gets the better of him. Storm back on the attack, 20 out from their own line.
Yeah, that's a great confident take by Hugo Peel. It was a good attacking set by the West Tigers. Asked some questions of the Melbourne Storm defence. They put a probing bomb up, but Hugo Peel very confidently went up for it and came down with the football.
20 out from that southern line here, the Storm on the attack with a 26-4 lead. No change to our halftime score. Indeed, we're off to the Canberra Raiders and Penrith Panthers next at Canberra Stadium. And again, here goes Lasati. Just one observation as well, by the way. Suafalungo has, as Kosa mentioned, had the cheekbone injury. Must do a kick from the 40-metre line. It was just inside, says ref Adam G. And bobbles up there, the bounce for Heath Mason. Big shoes to fill, the absence of Jareem Buller this week for the Tigers. He stopped 25 out from his own line. That's where they'll start their next set. 20 in from the western side. Back to Taruva. He usually wears the headgear for most of the game, Suafalungo. Didn't wear it today. Cops a cheekbone injury, so maybe he'll be... I mean, I know that doesn't prevent concussions necessarily, but it can prevent those other facial injuries. So, yes, he may have to reconsider Suafalungo, whether he goes headgearless or not. Alex Twal, who passed his HIA in that first half. 7 minutes played, second half at Amy Park, 26-4 Melbourne's lead. Madden on in turn here again. They go to Xiaomi Mi, and he's collected 35 out from that southern line. It's last play, West Tigers. Fight across from dummy half. Hope to Madden. Kick goes up, gains about 15 by way of ground metres. Was up there a long way though, and Seafarth feeds it back. It was again sloppy for the Tigers. Still the last, says the ref. Yeah. Melbourne ball, 25 out.
And Another huge effort from Hugo Peel on the last play. Didn't give up, kept on chasing and put in a good tackle for the Tigers to turn the ball over on the Storm 30.
Here they go, dummy half. Grant off to Hugo Peel. Another confident run, gains 15. And the young winger will be playing it metre shorter halfway for his captain, Grant. Open side right, off to Nick Meaney. And on a post-contact carry here, he's eventually brought down by Twal and Hope. 40 out now, Storm. Tackle 4. Grant to King to Hughes. Wide they go to the right-hand side as Joe Chan steamrolled Taylor May. And will now play at 30 out. Grant back across for Jerome Hughes. Shares it across the line now for Munster. He was collared by Madden immediately. And now it will be last play for the Storm. 30 out centre field. Grant does find Jerome Hughes. Inside ball now for Meaney. Flick pass for the captain. Grant puts in the kick now. It's all West Tigers jerseys though. And Mason lost his footing in the in-goal area. And his best choice was to ground it. And it will be a line drop out West Tigers. So still Melbourne 26, West Tigers 4. No change to our halftime score. 8 minutes played, second half. Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, that was a smart finish by Harry Grant. They looked to run it again on the Melbourne Storm, which is surprising, but Harry Grant got the ball and realised just dribbling it into the in-goal is probably the most prudent thing to do. I still can't believe Melbourne Storm haven't put another kick up to Will Warbrick. They scored a try the first time they did it, and they haven't done it since. I'd love to see Jerome Hughes put the ball up and have Warbrick challenge Laliti again.
Graham says the Tigers are missing Adam Dewey more than they realise. I said last week we would start testing us out and we come up with bagels and Manly next week. Oh no. Yeah, speaking of informed teams, well, that one 5 out of 6 games under Kieran Foran, so that's their magic round opponent next week, West Tigers. Drop that goes about 20 on the fly and it falls for Jack Howarth. So this is a full Storm set attacking that northern end of Amy Park with a 26-4 lead in their favour, and now it's been lost. So, Storm error, and Tigers get the ball back immediately as we head back to the... No, they're going to challenge it? Yes, they are.
Jack Howarth was straight away wanted the challenge, but having known Jack Howarth, I don't necessarily think I might believe him.
Unless there was some sort of foul play in there from... in the hands of Chris Butler in the bunker.
I think he's claiming a bit of a crusher, but...
Yeah. He claimed it very early though as well.
The ball rotates in the hand of Jack Howard, using the ground to maintain possession, which is a knock on. The captain's challenge is unsuccessful.
As you were, Melbourne 26, West Tigers 4. Touchline we go, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, you can just feel Storm are building some pressure, and obviously for Craig Bellamy this week has been huge. He did front the media conference a day or two ago. It had been Frank Panissi that had been doing a lot of the running on that, but Craig wants to return to normal, despite obviously the diagnosis that has been chatted about over the last fortnight or so.
So West Tigers scrum feed here, 20 out centre field, and open side left they come. To that left edge for Luke Lalali'i, 19 years of age, scored a couple of doubles in this campaign so far for his 4 tries against the Cowboys and the Canberra Raiders. Raiders are up next, hosting Penrith with Andrew Moore, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs. Across the right-hand side they go. Kai Pearce-Paul, flick pass to Herbert. Darts back on the inside now before he is dragged down by Sean Blore. And Herbert will play it now. It's a few metres short of the halfway. Taruva first receiver. Trying to beat Grant for pace here. But is only playing at about 5 metres inside Storm territory, southern end of Amy Park. Across hands they go with Jerome Luai. Now he goes wide to find Tristan Hope. Luke Lalali'i again comes in field, straight to Cooper Clark and ripped back to the turf by Higan Warbrick. 30 out and about 15 in from the eastern side of the ground. Last play Tigers as the kick comes up from Jock Madden, and leaping up there was Nick Meaney. It's batted back here for Jerome Hughes. Adam G saying it was knocked on Tigers first, so no advantage. It'll come back here. Fred Melbourne play the ball. 10 out from that southern line. It's still Melbourne 26, West Tigers 4. Got a few texts here as well. Great call, guys. Up the Raiders. I reckon my Raiders have a very good chance beating table leaders Panthers. What's your opinion, guys? Asked Hubbard from Brisbane.
Yeah, I think the Raiders are red hot chance.
And to a few more texts as well. Kai Pearce-Paul has absolutely amazing footwork for the line at the line. Reminds me of Paul Whittle in the TRL, old Twinkle Toes they used to call him. Thank you, Ashton Tyler in Toowoomba. Storm on the attack, 25 out. And now tackled ball and all is that man out there in Trent Liero. Here comes Utoi Kamanu, of course an ex-West Tiger. He's second year at the Storm, turns 26 next week. Nick Stefano gathered here by Grant on second last play. And this will be the last now for the Storm, still in their own half. They lead 26-4. Munster kicks from dummy half, probing left foot ball down to the corner, where it's gathered by Heath Mason, the opposing fullback, and now he's collected 25 out from his own line.
Yeah, very strong tackle there on the kick chase by Jack Howarth. It's been a good start by both teams. Melbourne Storm have been under a bit of defensive pressure from the expansive attack, which Melbourne Storm got warned about at half-time. The West Tigers will continue to keep throwing the football.
Tackle 3, West Tigers. Hope finds Laula Lee. It comes wide of the corner again, and on in turn with Taylor May, and on that far edge, and they'll bring it back in centre field now, the West Tigers. Madden. Cross now for Mason. Herbert shows some good dash. Flick pass went behind Sunil Taruva out over the western touchline. 40 out from Melbourne's line is where they'll have possession. Next, 26-4 their lead. We're talking about potential records being broken after the first 15 minutes. It was 20 points to 0. Things have mellowed here somewhat. The Storm in control though.
Yeah, and I think that shows a lot more about the growth of the West Tigers, because if you go to the West Tigers past couple of years, they've probably been, if they get a score put on them early, they can probably crumble a bit. But this has been a great fight back for the Tigers just to keep the score where it is. The Melbourne Storm are doing everything right as well. I think where they've been quite poor the last couple of weeks has been on their edges. Then they've got a nice little combo working here on that left-hand edge with Jack Howarth and Hugo Peel working very well together.
12 minutes played, second half. Off to Canberra next for the Raiders and Panthers with Morey, Louis and Gibbsy. As Grant across to Trent Liero, stands in one tackle there as in coming across Kai Pearce-Paul and Seapath put him down. Set restart Melbourne, 40 out from that northern line. Munster a little show and go here before Madden gets him. Only going about 6 or 7 metres. And we'll play it now, 35 out from West Tigers line. Grant all the way across now, Liero to Hughes. And again, Meany onto Joe Chan. Speaking of twinkle toes, little step there as well on Jerome Luai. And also Taylor May, and now he'll play at 25 out. Grant across for Jerome Hughes, tries to put Utoi Kamanu through the gap, and now he is stopped 20 metres out, attacking that northern line. Set restart Melbourne again, so repeat more of this attacking foray upfield, and Cooper Clark takes a couple of tacklers with him to within 3 metres. Strong post contact run from young Cooper Clark. We'll play it now for Grant across to the right hand side. Jerome Hughes, and now Meany goes a step himself here, dragged down by Taylor May, deep in that northeastern corner of the ground. Chan from dummy half to Hughes. Getting in front of it there was Seapath. It's going to be 6 more Storm as it came back to the attacking side. So it's held up here 5 metres shy of that northern line with Joe Chan. Grant dummy half. Across now again for Liero. Takes on 12. Spun a full 360. Liero will play it now. 8 metres out, right-hand side of the upright. Still Melbourne 26, West Tigers 4. Grant finds Jerome Hughes, and he's tackled now by Seapath. Offload came back to Grant, though, still alive. Clark back to Liero. Devoid of options. Gets it back to Harry Grant. Kicks high for the corner. There's the Warbrick corner again, Hoffy. And Warbrick obliges and scores his second try of the game. 30 points to 4. Kick to come Storm after 14 minutes in this second half.
Well, he's a hell of a target out there, Will Warbrick. It's worked once. I imagine it would have worked twice. Great kick there by Harry Grant. Good pressure by the Melbourne Storm with their attack. The Tigers kept on showing up, but the offloads are starting to come. There's a bit of fatigue setting into that line. The offloads are coming, and Melbourne Storm are really stressing their defence. But Harry Grant, he's having another captain's knock here today, both with his defence and his attacking ability. That's his second good kick today.
Back to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
And I reckon Storm have got more composure than we've seen in the last couple of weeks. That play could have easily broken down. It didn't. Everyone just took their time, and eventually the kick was absolutely right. Warbrick's got to have at least 1.5 foot on his opposite number, I would think, on that side. So I'm surprised, a bit like Hoffy, they haven't been peppering away.
Neil says, as hoped, it looks like Melbourne is playing for their coach. One-armed bandit says, "G'day guys, as usual, a great call. I I've said for years, I don't know why headgear isn't compulsory for under 7s onwards. Maybe the headgear companies have to do some more development on headgear to stop facial injuries, even though it has no effect allegedly on concussions. Thank you, One Bandit. Yeah, that's been well publicised, that it doesn't prevent concussions due to the way that your brain moves around. But for Suafalongo, who suffered the cheekbone injury, maybe his headgear that he usually wears would have prevented that. Here is the kick from Nick Mini, 21 out at about centimetres in from the eastern side, and he is so far 3 from 5, make it 4 out of 6, and the Storm 32 leads West Tigers 4, 16 gone, 24 left in this second half.
Yeah, I've said it a couple of times. Craig Bellamy would be really happy what Storm are doing in attack. Their attack has been a little ho-hum, but it's been great today. But the number that he's been pleased with is the 4. Their defence, they're showing a bit of defensive resilience, especially after they've given away a couple of 6 against. They managed to defend that following set, which they have been very poor at.
Bubba J from the not so sunny Sunshine Coast here, loving the call. It's a bit sad when your team is doing so poor in the year that you tip against them, then they play better when you don't take them. That is betrayal.
Something there.
When you betray your own team and they win when you haven't tipped them, that is the worst feeling. Thank you, Bubba J, for your text. Go around the ground shortly as well, and 0467920222 is that text number. Cooper Clark brings it back from the kick-off. Play at 20 out, 20 in, eastern side. Grant off here again, the run of Lasati. He gains a quick 10 as well. So the Storms, tails are up again here, 32-4. Centre field run from Trent Liero, and he stands in the Kai Pearce-Paul tackle. And will now play it 7 metres short of halfway. Grant off the deck with one hand to find Utoi Kamanu. And this will be tackle 4. Grant across now for Cameron Munster. Across to Jerome Hughes. Darts on the inside there of Jerome Luai. It's a Jerome-a-thon out there in either team's halves as Grant finds Munster. Running kick. Down to the fullback Mason. Coming through was Warbrick. Mason lost it, heard the footsteps. And knock on West Tigers. So Melbourne scrum here, only 10 metres out from that northern line.
Yeah, it's the pressure. Will Warbrick has received a challenge?
They're going to claim that Warbrick somehow got there first. Let's have a listen.
Shoulder prides.
Hear what Chris Butler has to say in the bunker.
Clean Melbourne's kick chases on stop.
It seemed pretty simultaneous looking at the replay. Did he get a touch though first?
I can't really see deviation.
Just looking at all angles to see whether it touches the fingers of Will Warbrick.
Well, Wengle's got it.
No, I think he touched it.
So this could be a successful challenge. It's a testament to the pace of Will Warbrick that he got there first. Yep, his finger bends back. Yeah. So it will be.
It's the right hand of Will Warbrick first, which is your first knock on.
Successful
challenge. Challenge is successful.
But it was a great effort by Warbrick. He showed a lot of effort to sprint down there to put pressure on it. Too many times I think teams are just happy for the fullback to catch it. You got to get down there and put pressure on him.
So play it 10 out from their own line here, the West Tigers, with possession after the successful captain's challenge. Sam here, hello from Canowindra, New South Wales, listening to NRL on the radio up the Bunnies. And Smithy says, Storm, do it for Craig. Technically, we can still make the finals. Go Storm. My word, they can. This will be 3 and 7 if they can see it through here today. Still 23 minutes left in the game. Tigers on the attack. Luai feeds it across out wide, and Hughes makes the tackle on Taylor May. Now comes back infield for Sione Fainu, and he is playing at 35 out from that northern line. Hope, dummy half. Back now again on this centre field run for Nuabole, and he'll play it. Got metres shy of this halfway line. Luai off to Sione Fainu, and kept alive. Taylor May finds Ali. He kicks down that eastern side, meaning out to meet the ball, knocks it out over the eastern side. So play the ball, West Tigers. Just on that run from Nuabole, I mentioned he's a Victorian junior. He actually played AFL, played junior Aussie rules as a kid, but his mum didn't like the fact that they played on Sundays, and that was church day. So played league on Saturdays, and of course he's had a great career so far.
His brother's actually sitting in front of us.
Right. 10 metres out, southern end. Comes across now to Alex Twal, and he is claimed by the defence, which features Yutoi Kamanu. Which one's he? Pointing out to me again. There he is.
Right
there we go. 7 out, left-hand side of the post. There is Fanua Bole, the big bro, and he's forced back by Cooper Clark and Yutoi Kamanu. 5 outs in the field here, West Tigers. It's Melbourne who lead 32 points to 4. Comes across from Hope to Madden, and now Jerome Luai shrugs one tackle and throws the pass straight to Will Warbrick.
Will Warbrick chimed in the back line there.
19 gone, 21 left in this second half. You're with Brett Sprigg, Ryan Hoffman, Ian Cohen. Down to Koza on the sideline very shortly. And of course, we'll take you to Canberra for the Raiders and Panthers up next with Andrew Moore, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs as Warbrick gets involved again on play 4 for the Storm. Off now to Lasati. Centre field run gains a quick 10. And he's forced down there by Twal and Hope and also Luke Laulali'i. Play at 12 short of the halfway. All the way across now for Munster. Back on the inside for Howarth. And he will play it 11 short of halfway. The last play Melbourne as Grant finds Hughes. He kicks for distance down the eastern side of the ground. May, facing his own goal line, takes that high ball. And by the time he is met by the defence, he is making one break. Now another. Still going. He's 40 out over halfway. Dragged down by Warbrick. Good defending. The Melbourne winger who scored 2 tries today. Tigers here play 2. Their best field position for a while. Madden it comes. Pierce Paul to Herbert. Inside run takes on Munster. And coming across Cooper Clark in defensive reinforcement. 35 out. And about 15 in from the western side in front of us at Amy Park. Pierce Paul moves along here for Madden, and now hitting the deck down there. Is it Mav Geyer who's out there? So he's on his club debut at the West Tigers. So Mav Geyer, a second carry for him. And now collected 25 out centre field. So second last play here. The West Tigers. It's only half. Hope fires the pass across Madden. Twal a big fend, and the pass comes back with a flick pass. Madden, now Kai Pearce-Paul. Another flick pass here for Herbert. Looks for the corner, the dummies, and instead is tackled by Howarth and Mini. Last play, West 11 out from that Melbourne Storm line. Kai Pearce-Paul will go himself. Needs some support. Offloads back here for Hope. Still the last for West, as you heard there. Matt Geyer. It'll bounce back for Alex Twal, and Twal tackled 10 metres out here will end the set. Changeover, and Melbourne still leads 32 to the West Tigers 4. 19 and a half left in the game. Touchline we go, Ian Cohen.
Well, that was the expansive sort of play that Craig Bellamy warned his men in purple about, and obviously Tigers are trying everything at the moment. Crowd of 15,684 in a beautiful autumnal afternoon for Mother's Day here in Melbourne.
That'd be a past mark Mother's Day, wouldn't it, Koza?
Yeah, they were hoping for 15 or more, and they've achieved that. So I think Storm will be pretty happy with that.
So not traditionally a big day for footy crowds Mother's Day, which is fair enough. Unless your mum loves footy, you can all come together as a family, as some families certainly do. Comes across to Yutoi Kamanu, and he takes on Jock Madden. Still going post-contact game here. Yutoi Kamanu over halfway, and he'll play it here. Second last for Melbourne. 32 plays 4 is the scoreline at Amy Park. Howarth back to Sean Blore. And now Trent Loiero, all the way back here to Lasati. They'll shift it from left to right. Let's strip those for numbers. And a strong run from Joe Chan. Over 30-20, takes on Heath Mason. With Jason tackled down there, 10 metres out by Taylor May. Dummy half Warbrick across to Hughes. Overlap was too strong here for Melbourne. Grant offloads back to Jerome Hughes. And the finish is not going to come. There's just a metre shy with Trent Loiero crawling toward the post. And it remains Melbourne 32. West Tigers 4, 18 left in the game. Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, been mentioning the Tigers been playing a bit expansive. The Melbourne Storm there, a bit expansive, singing the ball out to the right, and Joe Chan filling in for the centres with Suafar Longo being off and there being a backline reshuffle, showing great pace out there. They just couldn't get the ball back to the left. Trent Loiero slipping as he get the ball on the 5th tackle, but Melbourne Storm turning the ball over 2 metres out from the try line. There's a Storm player down. I think there might be Harry Grant just getting some attention.
Getting up now. By the way, around the grounds, New South Wales Cup second half. Newtown 20 leads South 12. Jersey Flegg full time. Primus have beaten Canberra 39 points to 30. Queensland Cup second half. Tweed Seagulls 24 leads Western Clydesdales 22. Mackay Cutters and Angie Hunters are 18 points all. First half, Northern Pride leads South Logan 10 to 8. AFL fourth quarter. Melbourne 91 leads West Coast 53. First quarter at the MCG, Richmond and Adelaide side are 7 points all. A-League Women's semi-final full-time. Wellington 2 have beaten Brisbane Raw 0 in that second leg, so they will go through to that Women's A-League Women's final. Super Netball fourth quarter. Melbourne Mavericks 55 have beaten the Giants 38. They lead the Giants 38 in the fourth quarter. Back live here for the NRL. First of our 2 Sunday games. And the Tigers will close their set with a kick to Jock Madden. It's Melbourne 32, the West Tigers 4. Madden's kick up in the air, allowed to bounce by Herbert. Still the last is Pierce Paul to Mavs Geyer. Hibbleton is kicked as Geyer. It's almost lost there by Hugo Peel, whose best option with Truva bearing down on him is to knock it over the western line.
Yeah, you've got to be wary of the second kick, and that happened there for the Storm. Hugo Peel did a good job to get back. Unfortunately, got a shocking bounce and had to knock it in. There's a chance here for the Tigers. Full set inside the Storm 20. Defending back-to-back sets. It's going to be a tough ask as Bunty Afoa comes back on the field.
16:50 left in the game. So they've used Latu Whānau, Alex Seafarth, Royce Hunt and Maverick Geyer. So that's their 4-man bench complete for the West Tigers. To within a few metres of that line now with Fanua Bolle. Set restart as Hope finds Geyer. And he backs his way into 3 Melbourne Storm players, does Mav Geyer. As Hope at dummy half. Low ball across now for Madden. Inside ball Luai. Back to Heath Mason. Tries a step there on Harry Grant. Coming across here, Troy Kamano stops the fullback. He'll play it now. 5 out from that Melbourne line in front of the post. Madden to Pierce Paul. And he's collected there by 3 Melbourne defenders. Tackle 4 now West Tigers. Hope dummy half. Across now again for Madden. And now Geyer to the left-hand side Luai. Still going left-hand side. Cut out pass there for Luke Laulali'i, who flies into the corner. And the Tigers are in. Luke Laulali'i scores the try and makes it still Melbourne 32, West Tigers 8. Kick to come for the Tigers with 15:40 on the clock. Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, that's a well-crafted try by the Tigers. They opened up their left-hand edge really, really well, and it was a good line there by Sione Finau, which just held up the Melbourne Storm defence, held up Jerome Hughes. They got the 3-on-2. Heath Mason chose the right option there, and a tremendous try in the corner scored there by Luke Laulali'i. This is what Benji Marshall, this is what he needed from his team. A bit of a response, keep fighting all the way to the end. There's still 15 minutes to go in this game. They can make the scoreline look a hell of a lot better.
Back to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, you'd have to say that the Tigers have got to take some spirit out of this, because it looked like they were going to be absolutely steamrolled after those first 20 minutes, but they've kept themselves in the contest. They've done well. 32-8, could be 32-10, and all of a sudden they're at least in this particular match. Some warm applause too for Mav Geyer. Obviously his uncle plied his trade down here for a very long period of time.
And I'm curious too, I'm not sure what the conditions of his contract are at West Tigers, but I noticed that his dad went Penrith, then Balmain, then Perth, where the Mav follows the same trajectory. He's gone Panthers, Tigers, maybe the Bears, who knows. Anyway, 25 out, and the metre in from the eastern side, who is where Jock Madden is. He missed a similar shot in the first half to convert the Taylor May try. This has the distance and the accuracy. Flags are up. So Storm 32, West Tigers 10 here at a sunny Amy Park, 15,000 in the building. Off the SNS, Kathy is on level 3 on the 10-metre line at the Storm end. Can you answer my question about the white socks worn by Harry Grant and 2 other Tigers players? Are they compression socks or something else? Obviously allowed to wear them even though they're not in team colours. What are the...
They're compression socks that are under their playing socks. It's just that the players have the socks pulled all the way down. That's why you can see them.
There we go. Thank you, Kathy. I mean, obviously across all those sort of things. 0467 920 222.
I was never fast enough to need it.
Fourth quarter AFL, Melbourne 92 leads the West Coast Eagles 59. Kick-off here arrives for Jerome Luai, who gets up on that sunny side of the ground. 20 out from his own line, 10 in from the eastern side. There is Bunty Afoa, who, as Ryan Hoffman mentioned, is back in the action. So a couple of guys in their Tigers colours for the first time. Bunty Afoa and Maverick Geyer today. Afoa started in the absence of Terrell May, whose wife has gone into labour on Mother's Day, which is a nice touch, and all the best to Terrell May and his family. 13:50 left in the game. Storm 32, West Tigers 10. Fed back here now for Madden. Luai across now for Taylor May. Breaks one tackle. Still going. Flick past wide Laulali'i. And Hughes comes across to cover him. And also Joe Chan. 30 out. Couple of steps in from the eastern side. Tigers here, second last play. They've closed the the gap a little bit, but still 22 points is the Storm lead here. Comes across right-hand side for Herbert, hanging on for dear life. Howard brings him down, and also Cooper Clark in there as well. Other side of that sandwich. Last play, West Tigers. Madden's kick goes up. It'll arrive on the 10-metre line. Still the last West Tigers. Luai gets away from that high ball, and now off to Taylor May, who weaves his way to the line and scores. Well, it looked like nothing much there. I think it was Fanua Bolo who received that high ball, popped the pass back to Jerome Luai. They went wide, and Taylor May scores his second try of the afternoon. So 32 points to 14. Kick to come, West Tigers with 12:50 left.
Yeah, there's some bad habits coming into the Melbourne Storm. There's habits that they've had the first several weeks, missing tackles on the edges. The West Tigers are doing a great job of really putting pressure on the Melbourne Storm right edge, especially Joe Chan and Will Warbrick. They're getting a lot of success there as they score another 2 tries and 2 sets down that same edge.
Back to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
I want to know, speaking about Joe Chan, whether, Hoffy, your eyes ever rolled back in your head a bit like Joe Chan has done previously. If you ever got an opportunity out there, how did you take it? Because Joe Chan's making the most of it at the moment.
Yeah, look, it's tough going when you're playing in the back row and having to defend against centres, but Joe Chan, he's getting man on man. He's just missing those one-on-one tackles. I think he's trying to go a bit too high on Taylor May. If he goes a bit more at the legs, I think they can start chopping them down.
2 tries in 3 minutes for the West Tigers, and here is Jock Madden to convert 24 metres out and a metre in, maybe a couple metres in from the eastern side. Kicked the last conversion from out that way. Jock Madden. Just going to reset the tee here as well. Keep your text coming, 0467 920 222. As well for Andrew Moore, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs, who will bring you Canberra and Penrith up next from the capital. And he comes, Jock Madden, right foot kicking again. It looks all right. So 32 points to 16 is still Melbourne's lead. The Tigers cut that gap here with 11:50 left in the game. Around the grounds, New South Wales Cup is now Newtown Jets 20, South Sydney Rabbitohs 12. Mentioned Jersey Flegg full-time. Penrith 39 beat the Raiders 30. Queensland Cup second half. Clydesdale's 26 leads Tweed Seagulls 24. Second half, Queensland Cup still 18 all the Cutters and the Hunters. While in the Queensland Cup, the Northern Pride 16 leads South Logan 8. AFL fourth quarter, it's Melbourne 92 leads West Coast 60. And in the first quarter at the MCG, Adelaide 19 leads Richmond 13. Back on the attack here, the West Tigers. 32 points to 16, so they've got it back to half the Melbourne score. Still find themselves 16 points shy. Dummy half. Hope off to Gaia, and now Madden. Luai on here to Sione Fainu, and he is claimed by Grant and Hughes. 40 out, 20 in, eastern side. Hope at dummy half for West Tigers, who's in it's now week 3 of the Happy Coruscant suspension. Mature age rookie Tristan Hope turns 29 next week. When his debut last year, he's performing that role at number 9 for West Tigers. This will be last players, Bolle plays it. There is Hope. Fires at right-hand side. Madden kicks from the 40-metre line. It'll come down there for Nick Meaney, who's in at fullback in the absence of Sua Falongo. He received a head knock and a cheekbone injury in that first half. That will be penalty Melbourne as Meaney gets up to his feet.
Yeah, look, it's poor there from the West Tigers. Bunty Afoa caught inside the 10 metres. Poor discipline there because they had a great chance to put on a lot of pressure, and they could have been catching that football after the Storm set on the 40. Instead, Jerome Hughes is going to get the ball, and the Melbourne Storm are going to be starting the set on their own 40.
Back to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, heading into Magic Round, that'll be the big challenge, won't it? Obviously for Melbourne Storm to replace the fullback with Sua. We know Nick Meaney does such a great job, but he's going to be missed elsewhere as well.
Penalty count is 5-2 Melbourne's way, and all up there have been 6 set restarts to 5 the Storm's way as well. Scoreline is 32 points to 16. Over halfway they go here, the Storm attacking that northern goal line. Set restart again going Melbourne's way. So Grant dummy half across to Liero with 9:55 left in the game. Heading off to Canberra next for the Raiders and Panthers on ABC Sport. NRL Sunday. Lasati brought to the deck here by Xiaomi Mi, and he'll play it now. 30 out, 20 in. Off it comes to Stefano Yatoikamanu. Bunty Afoa comes across to get him, and also Tristan Hope. And they are now 20 out from that West Tigers line. On tackle 4, Grant links up with Josh King. He's on track for his 200th game this year. Game number 191 today for Josh King. Grant. Open side left for Jerome Hughes. On to Munster through the gap. Takes on Mason. And gets a turnstile tackle from Heath Mason. Munster scores behind the posts. And if the game wasn't already iced for the Storm, you can put it in the book. 36-16. Kick to come, Storm. They will break this 7-game losing streak. There is 8 minutes and 55 seconds left, Brian Hoffman.
Yeah, well, Munster went through that easy. I've got to look at the replay to make sure no one was held up. They certainly weren't. It was a great line by Sean Bloor, which just brought all the defence in to come into it hard. And Cameron Munster, great to see him running the football, getting the ball out the back on those plays and actually catching the ball to run. Sometimes I think he's just been too much catch pass, but he's actually looking to run there. So strong, good try by the Melbourne Storm. Good way to hopefully finish the game for them.
Scored his first 2 tries of the game in this afternoon's, or of the season I should say, in this afternoon's game in the first half, and now the second half for Cameron Munster. Back to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, really important return to form for a couple of those try scorers from Melbourne Storm. Jerome Hughes, Munster's got a brace, Will Warbrick with a brace as well. Sewell, we know, is not going to be a part of it for a little bit with that broken cheekbone, and Harry Grant. So the try scorers have been the big players as well. So they love getting their hands on the football and obviously enjoying getting it across the line.
Here is Nick Meaney, very slight angle, only 10 metres out for the Melbourne Storm. 4 out of 6 this afternoon for him, to make it 5 conversions out of 7. And that does make it Melbourne 38, West Tigers 16. You watch Cameron Munster. He's had a pretty lean start to the year for the first. He'll go win Origin off his own back now for Queensland.
Well, it's quite coincidental that he's actually coming to a bit of form coming into Origin. But look, he's been fast and aggressive in everything he's done. As we actually see a Storm debutant get on the field, Stanley Hewen.
Yeah, young. He's born in Ipswich, 21 years of age, plays as a half or a 5'8", so gets an opportunity here for the Melbourne Storm. So their bench today has been Joe Chan, David Mawali, Cooper Clark, and now Stanley Hewen. As this short kickoff goes to that Will Warbrick wing, it will be penalty Melbourne. Yeah, he was tunneled by Mason.
Yeah, Heath Mason just got his timing wrong and just took out the legs of Will Warbrick.
Neil says, when you say Melbourne has iced the cake, do you mean game set bingo? No, I don't. That's Maury's thing. And you may hear it in Canberra coming up with the Raiders and the Panthers. Although I hope not, because usually if it's game set bingo, it means it's been a bit of a boring, for the most part. Often you hear a GSB late in the game.
That'd be sacrilegious if you did that.
No, I'm not doing that. I think Louis did on Friday in Gossett. Maury wasn't there and Louis stole it.
Because he was being a punny.
Exactly right. Per your first thought. So they fine touch on the eastern side. There have been 3 reports made in the game. So I got the one for Latu Fino Alex 12. What have I missed there as far as reports? I'll just come back to that. 38-16, 6:50 left in this second half. Penalty count has been now 7-2 Melbourne's way. And they'll swing it across here with Lasati. And on a probing run over that halfway line, he is now 42 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Grant across now for Jerome Hughes, making his return from a head knock today. There is Stanley Hewen, and warm applause for him. I'm sure he's got some loved ones watching on, certainly here in the crowd or on TV. It comes across to the right-hand side, and now a little stepping run now from Joe Chan. Has recently sort of come back to the bench in favour of Sean Bloor, starting in the back row. Dummy half Warbrick finds Hughes. This is tackle 4 for Melbourne. Grant to Munster, and an ugly ball sort of bounced there for Hugo Peel, who knocks on. And we'll get possession back to West Tigers, about 40 out from their own line. Let's head back to the touchline. Ian Cohen.
Yeah, keep an eye on Will Warbrick. He came down really heavily, almost hyperextended. You can see him. He's just, he's fetlock. He's not happy with his leg. The trainers have been out to him a couple of times, so just keep an eye on Will Warbrick. He's not quite right at the moment.
Fetlock, you might see a few horses at Flemington have that Caulfield or Mooney Valley. Kai Pearce-Paul will play on report, by the way, for the West Tigers. So 3 reports made in this game so far, with 5:20 left as they try to blitz their way through a gap on that far side. And it's rolled back there by Taylor May. Dummy half Heath Mason. Bunty Alfoa runs headlong into 4 Melbourne defenders. 40 out from that southern line to which the Storm are defending. 38-16 Melbourne's lead here. Madden comes through hands back to Mason. Right hand side for Herbert. Howard brings him down, so too Munster. 25 out. Taruva, dummy half. Long pass across from Madden. And again, getting involved Latu Whanu, Luai and Mav Gaia. From behind, he's dragged down by Jerome Hughes, and Liero and Lasati stop him. 20 out, 20 in, eastern side for the West Tigers. It's come to Bolle, breaks one tackle, needs some support with the offload, won't get it, and it will be last play West Tigers. 7 metres out, right-hand side of the post. Hope across to Madden, inside ball, Mason, great tackle there by Meany, who manages to stop him in concert with Stanley Hewen, and that will give the ball back to Melbourne on their own goal line southern end. They lead 38-16 with 4 minutes left on ABC Sport. Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, missed opportunity there for the West Tigers. Jock Madden didn't identify that Nick Meany playing fullback was at marker on his own, so a little dribble in behind. There was no one there to defend it. Instead, they run it and get tackled.
Wayne from Mildura says, fellas, I think Sean Bloor is finding his feet. 3rd game back. The things he does is critical.
Yeah, he's had probably his best game for the year, along with many other Storm players.
I'll yield to your expertise on back rowers, Hoffy, as always, and all footy matters, as Grant goes across here now for Daddy Mawali. Play at 30 out, 20 in, western side of the ground. Josh King made light work of some sloppy defence. I think there was a player down there, Kai Pearce-Paul. King just stepped around him. He's inside now, that 40-metre line, northern end. Last play, Storm. Running kick from Jerome Hughes for Warbrick's corner on the wing there. Brings it back to Joe Chan, and he sends it across. It come off the ref. Well, yeah, it come off the ref, I think. It's still alive here for the Melbourne Storm. And now Lasati powers towards the line. He's lost it at the last moment. And it'll be kicked over the eastern touchline. Adam G saying it will be knock on West Tigers, I think he's saying.
Yeah, he got a bit of white line fever there out of Lasati because Will Warbrick was unmarked on the outside.
I just want to see this because it definitely bounced off the thigh of Adam G. It was sort of play on for Melbourne as it was gathered by Harry Grant. Let's have a listen. They're having a challenge here.
On the last tackle. Prior to that, I don't believe I regularly affected play.
There you go. So West Tigers challenging whether it was a knock-on.
Doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because Melbourne leads here 38 points to 16. Ooh, touch there from Taylor May.
Did it hit Lasati's foot though, or Taylor May's hand?
Ball's pass backwards from Melbourne.
It comes off Taylor May. It does come off.
So it hits the right arm of Taylor May. Challenge unsuccessful.
It was worth the challenge anyway from the Tigers, I suppose.
We've got 2 minutes and 58 seconds left.
It's a play the ball. Harry, help me here. Yeah, 10 metres out. 10 metres out.
Harry asks how long will Suafalungo be out for. It's hard to say at the moment. I mean, we think he passed the HIA, but it's the cheekbone fracture.
Cheekbones aren't too bad. You can sometimes play with them after 2-3 weeks.
Get it on your face, do you? Jonathan Brown used to say. Inside ball, Munster off to Stanley Hewen. But of course, have to be careful with those facial injuries. Play it left-hand side of the post. Set restart Melbourne. Grant open side right here. Munster to Hughes, and now Lasati gets his second chance to burst through, and he's grounding it this time.
Oh, I don't know.
There was a swarm of Tigers defence coming across to just swallow him up, but I reckon he's just done enough to score the try. As we approach full time here, for now at least, it's Melbourne 42, West Tigers 16, kick to come Storm. Try to Valu Lasati.
Yeah, Lasati, he wanted one the previous set, didn't he? He was certainly keen, but that was a great line there, running off Jerome Hughes. They've done well attacking the West Tigers fringes, the Melbourne Storm. I think the halves, especially Jerome Hughes, has gone to the line a bit more with some strong straight running, and if he has managed to get the ball on the ground, that's a good try.
By the way, full-time AFL Melbourne Demons have beaten West Coast 99 points to 67. I don't know why I say points. I mean, they are points, I suppose. Anyway, it's not sort of AFL vernacular. 12 out. Melbourne end here to kick for Nick Meaney. We're back to the touchline. Ian Cohen.
Been keeping an eye on Jack Howard too. He was injured in that tackle. You can see he's a little bit hunched over still. I think it was a case of just checking a little higher than the fetlock at that stage. But he seems to be all right now. Really good for Lasardi. That's second try for the season, and some of those unheralded players coming into their own now.
His third year in first grade, Adi Lasardi. And Nick Meaney has 5 out of 7 so far this afternoon. So here he is for his 6th successful conversion, make it 6 out of 8. It is the Melbourne Storm 44, the West Tigers 16, with 2 minutes left. Off the SMS, Sean from Geelong says, hi team, great call. Might have been an Irish name like Sian. He's got the little accent over the A. Feel like I'm there. Storm have had a bit of an uncharacteristic start to the year. What chance are there to get to the finals based on what you're seeing? The thing for the Melbourne Storm right now, Hoffy, is they're sort of, no one expects them to get anywhere now. After 2 and 7, soon to be 3 and 7. So they're sort of playing with house money a little bit.
Yeah, but they need a bit of consistency. I think finals are a long way. They're really going to have to nail these groups of games into groups of 2s and 3s, just to focus on that rather than get too far ahead.
Keep the text coming for Andrew Moore and the crew in Canberra, 0467920222. We've wrapped things up here. Josh King brings it back over his own 10-metre line. And he's tackled by Tristan Hope and Latu Finu. There's the try scorer, Lasardi. Another strong run here where he gains 15, and now he's 25 out from his own line. 90 seconds left in the game here at a sunny Amy Park. As I mentioned, we're off to Canberra next for the Raiders and the Panthers. As NRL Sunday on ABC Sport continues. Tackle for Melbourne comes across here. Grant on to Stanley Hewen on debut. A lad from Ipswich. Play it 7 short of the halfway. Grant to Munster. Dummies the pass here, and he's won a full 360 in the tackle by Bunty Afoa. And now we'll play it 40 out on the last for the Storm with 70 seconds on the clock. So Grant off to Jerome Hughes. Up goes a high kick. Mason plants the feet, takes the catch. And the West Tigers fullback, as I mentioned, a tough task for him. No Jareen Buller. Of course, Jock Madden's playing halfback in the absence of Adam Dewey. Terrell May was a late out as his wife's into labour today. So missing some big names. Samuela Fainu as well, some handy players. And it will be back-to-back losses. In fact, 3 losses in their last 4 starts for Benji's men after a strong start to the year. 44-16. Tigers on the attack. There's their captain, Jerome Luai. Flick pass back here for Latu Finu on report earlier in the game. And now Kai Pearce-Paul, who actually returned from a head knock to play here this afternoon. Offloads back here to Heath Mason and stands at a 3-man tackle with 15 seconds on the clock. Melbourne 44, West Tigers 16. Wrapping things up here on ABC Sport from Melbourne. Madden to Luai. They peel left-hand side. Luke Lalali's run down by Will Warbrick, and that will be it. What a game he's had, Will Warbrick. One last play here for the West Tigers. Tristan Hope. It's a kick in Hope from him, and it goes onto the chest of Nick Meaney, and he can turn his tackle. That will be full-time in Melbourne. The Storm, after a despairing couple of months, they break a 7-game losing streak. Their 3rd victory of the year, 44-16 over West Tigers. Right off, but your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a case of the monkeys off the Melbourne Storm back. I think the weight of all those losses in a row, first time ever for the Melbourne Storm, was really weighing on them, and it really was affecting them. So I think just getting a win gets the monkey off the back. The West Tigers, they're really going to rue their start. They're really going to rue their start because they just did not compete right off the opening whistle, led through some very soft tries. They did well to give themselves a bit of a hope in that second half, but you can't start like that, and the Melbourne Storm took them to the sword.
We might get time for one interview from Ian Cohen down there, and we'll wrap things up here with your 3 best players. Hoffy, we might try and get one more from Kozer as well to record afterwards for Maury and the boys post the Raiders-Panthers game. But the Storm here, 44-16, tries to Suafalongo in the 2nd minute. Warbrick scoring the first of his 2 tries in the 5th, then in the 53rd. Cam Munster in the 8th and also late in the second half there. Munster, we'll go through all that in a second. 8 tries to 3. Munster in the 8th and 70th minutes. Jerome Hughes in the 12th. Harry Grant 33. and Lasati in the 77th. That was their 8 tries. Nick Mini was 6 out of 8 kicking. Taylor May scored 2 tries, 25th and 66th minute. Luke Nalaliki in the 64th. As we are just watching the players shake hands here, Jock Madden kicked 2 out of 3. It was a 26-4 half-time scoreline. Finished up 44-16, the full-time score here at a sunny Amy Park. So heading off to Canberra shortly. And if you're listening to us on Melbourne News Radio, we'll drop you off back to regular programming. But you can, of course, keep listening to our ABC Rugby League coverage via ABC Listen. Just look for the ABC Sport button right across Australia or indeed beyond. And keep your texts coming as well, 0467920222. So big win for the Melbourne Storm. Just their 3rd victory of this campaign, ending what was the club's worst ever losing run. Those 7 straight defeats. Winners here today, and now back-to-back losses to Benji Marshall's West Tigers heading into Magic Round. Down to you, Koza, with the skipper.
Well, the skipper's always kind enough to talk to us in defeat, but this time it's actually a win and a much-needed win.
Yeah, it's been a while coming. I think, we've been on the back end of some tight contests this year, and, we knew we weren't far off, and just got to fine-tune a few things, and, it's pleasing that it finally come out on display tonight.
Some tries from some big names, yourself included. Cam Munster got involved, Jerome as well. Things slowly getting back on track.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've probably been sitting back a little bit waiting for the game to unfold, and I feel like today that the whole team sort of took the contest on and really lent into it, and that was probably the pleasing thing, and I guess points flowed off the back of that.
Was there a sense of doing it for the coach after his week of turmoil?
Yeah, for sure. I think we had that sense last week, and I think we really performed in the first half, and just lack of concentration and dropped off some effort areas in the second, thinking it was just going to happen, and I think we sort of really knuckled down on that this week, and had a few things to maintain and a few things to improve, and pleasing we did that. It's a big round for the club. It's family day, family weekend, Mother's Day, so it's a pretty special day.
You had your mum down here. What about Sua as well? Obviously cheekbone.
I'm not sure sort of the extent of it. I think he's got to get a scan in that, but he's been playing really tough for us this year and been so dangerous, but I think Means did a great job slotting in there. Hasn't trained any bit at fullback for a long time, so with those ones it's hard, but we can get a scan and go again.
Thanks, Harry.
Thank you.
Harry Grant.
Give a shout out to all the mums out there too, all the dads doing the mums jobs, and say a big happy Mother's Day, because it's a special day, and we'll love our mums.
I love it. Well done, Harry Grant there with Ian Cohen. Well said. Quick 3-2-1 from you, Hoffy, on the way to the boys in Canberra.
Yeah, 3-2-1. 3 points goes to Cameron Munster. Harry Grant spoke about taking themselves to the game, and that's what Cameron Munster did. 2 points. 2 points have got to go to Jack Howarth. He really impressed me with what he did there. Great return to form for him. And 1 point, Jerome Hughes led the team around the park very well.
Back in the side today, Jerome Hughes. So 3 for Munster, 2 for Howarth, and 1 to Jerome Hughes in the ABC Player of the Year. Next up, the Storm have the Eels at Magic Round, Lang Park. That's the Saturday night game. And the West Tigers face the in-form Manly Warringah Seagulls. So Tigers fans might be thinking, can things get a bit worse? Maybe. That's the 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday, of course. Magic Round next week, round 11. 3 reports made here today. Guy Pearce-Paul, Latu Whānau, and Alex Twal in the book for the West Tigers. The Storm win 44 points to 16. Thanks, Hoffy.
Thanks, Briggy.
Thanks to Hollywood Stu Baker and to Ian Cohen here, and to Adam Jones in the studio. If you're listening to us on Melbourne News Radio, you will head back to regular programs, so we'll drop you off there and say farewell to you for now, while the rest of us head to Canberra Stadium for the Raiders and the Panthers. Everybody, good afternoon.
Brett Sprigg, thank you very much. Good afternoon here in a delightful day at Canberra Stadium. I'm with Luke Lewis, down on the touchline, John Gibbs, Canberra and Penrith about to go at it, and we've got the Viking horn and then the Viking clap. For the Canberra Raiders, look, Jaden Brayley goes to the bench, and Morgan Smithies will start in jersey number 17. For Penrith, no changes. The referee will be Ashley Klein with Grant Atkins in the bunker. Luke Lewis won a premiership with Penrith. He also won one with Cronulla Sutherland, and he's sitting right next to me. How are you, Louis?
Yeah, very good, Andrew. I'm looking forward to this game. That was a interesting game down there in Melbourne. Great win by the Storm, and I'm expecting a really good game of footy here this afternoon. Obviously, all the inclusions there for the Canberra Raiders, and the biggest one there being Hudson Young. I think he's a massive one for him. And then you obviously have Ethan Strange back as well. It's another massive plus. And the Penrith Panthers, well. They're playing some outstanding football, but they're down here in Canberra, and look at this crowd. It's absolutely outstanding. I'm expecting a really good game of footy. There's no wind out there. I'm sure Gibbs will give us a proper update when we go down to him, but it's making for a perfect afternoon of rugby league, so this should be a tight one.
We had a high-scoring game in the Jersey Flag. Penrith 39 defeated Canberra 30. Speaking of Gibbsy, he is down there in the shadows of the grandstand. John T, good afternoon to you once more.
Yeah, good afternoon, Andrew and Luke. This should be a beaut game, this one. And the conditions are absolutely perfect. And that ground, as you can see, it's like a billiard table. It is pristine. So it's going to be fast, open rugby league, hopefully. And the way the game is played now, we should see plenty of points. There's a light southwesterly as Ralph just tests the grass there. Hardly any movement, so it doesn't register whatsoever on the Beaufort scale. It is 20 degrees, feels like 18, so player comfort levels are absolutely perfect.
You're tipping?
I'm tipping Penrith in what should be a close affair, and they have to tighten up their right-hand defence, Canberra, because we know what Casey McLean and Milky Jenkins, who's been in a bit of a drought, hasn't scored for a couple of games. He might bounce back with a double today.
Well, I did see you and Ralph Tucker both having milks earlier, so that might be a good positive sign for Tom Jenkins to end his two-game tryless drought, as it were. We've got the fans lining up to welcome Canberra and Penrith onto the field. We'll have the Viking horn, Louis. Who's playing, blowing that again today?
Yeah, there's a young fella from the NHL that's out here blowing the Viking horn, but I can't remember his exact name.
I think it's from the AHL.
Oh, maybe the AHL.
The Australian Hockey League, yeah, plays for Canberra down here. So that's to come.
Sigwit.
Canberra, Penrith, Louis. Canberra's season is in a bit of a hole, isn't it? They're coming 12th, but it just seems like they need to get back to full strength and they can be a really good side again.
Well, last year they were sitting up at the top and they ended up missing out anyway. They got to the finals and they had a couple of straight runs. Maybe they're just doing it a different way around this year. They're going to start slow and then build into the back end of the year, but they've still got the team there. It's funny, every time I watch Canberra, I feel like they're in most games. They can win all games. They just clock off here and there. Today, if they're going to win, they've got to be 100% the whole game. They've got to play their best 80 minutes today to get the win. Penrith aren't going to give it to them. They've got to respect the ball and discipline. But here come the mighty Panthers as we speak.
Yeah, Nathan Cleary and Isaiah Yeo lead them out. Dylan Edwards, the fullback, the wingers, Tom Jenkins and Brian To'o. Centres, Paul Alamotti and Casey McLean. 5'8" Blaze Talangi, half Nathan Cleary lock, Isaiah